everybody, one and all, and welcome to the Aegis Guardians League, our featured matchup for the Week 6 of the regular season. This one going to be Imperial Gaming versus the Clown Gaming Aristocrats. My name is Moose, and I am joined here by the one and only Charles Elroy. Charles, how's your week been so far?
So far, it has been a great week. Looking forward to the weekend. How about yourself, sir?
I'm looking forward to the week. We have been here in Vegas. It has been so windy this full week, and the weather report is saying that it's supposed to be clear blue skies all weekend long, no wind. It's not too hot. So really looking forward to being able to enjoy that and the outside beautiful weather that Vegas is supposedly going to have, because I'm sure, as you know, that it gets hot here in Vegas, and so we want to be able to enjoy the nice, beautiful weather while we can.
I totally understand. I'm down in Phoenix, Arizona, so I understand what hot weather looks like. So the winter time
Definitely.
is our time to shine. So we've had a nice, cool 70-degree weather here lately. It's going to get up in the 80s next week. I'm ready for it.
Exactly. And speaking of heating up, we're going to segue into this Week 6 matchup. Imperial Gaming versus the Clown Gaming Aristocrats is your featured matchup for this week. Both of these teams in the Zon division are looking to be able to secure a high-ranking placement spot moving into the play-ins here in 2 weeks. So today, very big matchup for both of these teams. Imperial Gaming 4-1 at the moment. Crown Gaming Aristocrats, 3-2, and a win for both of these teams could really start to cement where these teams are going to be placed into the play-ins later on down in this season of AGL.
Yeah, so they're both setting right now just a little bit lower than clinched or locked in for the playoffs. They'll be in the play-in, so if they can get a win here, they can definitely try and make a spot for that guaranteed space. Omega Gaming Apex locked in at 4-1, but Imperial Gaming 4-1 as well. So this is going to be a big week for deciding how these teams shake out in terms of the standings, especially if they can make it a 3-game series, get a couple extra wins in the game record. That would definitely help them out as far as that goes. So we're definitely going to see how it turns out. I'm excited for it. I'm a big fan of both Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this game shakes out, and then also how next week's games turn out. It's going to be big for both of those teams. Clown Gaming going against the Spartan Shields, and then you've got Imperial Gaming going into Team Ambition. So a big one there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Team Ambition Gambit are going to be coming off of a bye week here in Week 6. That's going to guarantee them a 6-0 record moving into Week 7. So, arguably saying Imperial Gaming does have the harder of the two schedules between these two teams. Imperial Gaming going to go up against Team Ambition Gambit in Week 7. Clown Gaming Aristocrats going up against Spartan Shield in Week 7. And then Crystal Cave Gaming Ruby will go up against Omega Gaming Apex in that last week. So, a win here today for any of these teams is, I think, something that's pretty massive. Kind of going down the list here in the Zon division. As I stated earlier, Team Ambition Gambit does get the bye here this week. Tassa Blue going up against Crystal Cave Gaming Ruby in what could be the matchup that determines who actually gets into the play-ins, who secures that 6th spot. And then, of course, Omega Gaming Apex will be facing off against the Spartan Shields in another very important matchup. In terms of the standings, Team Ambition Gambit, no one's going to be able to, I think, catch up to them at this point. They are most likely going to be secured in that first place spot, but the opportunity is there for several teams to clinch that second rank in the Zon division for sure.
Yeah, like you said, Team Ambition Gambit, they've kind of got to run away with it right now. They're going to go into that final week 6-0, and they're not super worried about what happens in that last week. They've locked in their spot. But both the rest of the teams underneath, Omega, Imperial, Clown, and Spartans, all are going to be vying around for those top spots, like you said, as they go into the gauntlets in about 2 weeks. So they definitely want to bring their A game. They definitely want to play for keeps. And so we should be able to see some really good games tonight between both these teams. I'm looking forward to it. The one thing that I'm going to be keeping my eye on, excuse me, is that both these teams are coming out of winning weeks as well. So they're both feeling kind of on fire. Clown went up against Toss of Blue last week, managed to get a 2-0 victory out of that series. Same thing with Imperial Gaming; they went against Spartan Shields, coming out in the 2-0 series. So I definitely want to see who's going to have the upper hand here. They're coming off warm weeks; they both had great weeks while they were playing as well. So it's going to be a big series tonight, and we get to cast such a fun game. I'm excited for it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, a really fun matchup and really one that will, I think, really determine where the Zon division is going to be at. Please feel free to put in your support for what team you think is going to be able to take the victory here between Clown Gaming, Aristocrats, and Imperial Gaming, as we do get ourselves lined up to start this draft, I believe, here within the next couple of seconds. But before we do that, though, do want to go and slide over to the Piltover division. That is the other of the two divisions here in the AGL. The Week 6 matchups include Glacial Omen up against Oasis Dream, DGZ Arcadia up against Clown Gaming Gotham, Mint Rocky Road is going to be going up against Team Ambition Solstice, and then Tufts Sapphire will be going up against Literal Monkeys Grass. That division is just as heated here in the Piltover division. A ton of teams either locked in that 4-1 or even in that 5-0 when you're talking about DGZ Arcadia. So a very important game, I think, for every single one of these teams, especially as you're trying to get into the play-in stage. Speaking of, kind of discussing where and how AGL works, is we have the 7 weeks of the round robin within the Piltover and the Zon division. Following that, it's 2 weeks of play-ins to determine then who is going to be the representatives in the actual playoffs. You want to be able to get as many wins as you can to increase your standings, to give yourself the opportunity to be able to get into those quarterfinals. And as we get into the final parts of the regular season, every game counts.
Oh, absolutely. And with Piltover, like, as you said, it's just as competitive. You've got DZG. They're going against Clown Gaming Gotham, who's number 2. So that's going to be a big game for this week to kind of decide who gets to step out in front a little bit with the lead, or if somebody's able to catch up and make it even more fierce going into week 7. Both of these divisions are definitely competitive. They've got strong teams. They've got, as you said, just as much back and forth between the teams with Oasis Dream, Clown Gaming 4-1. They're going to be neck and neck. They're going to be fighting for that number 2 spot. You've got Literal Monkeys Grass, Mint Rocky Road, even Team Ambition Solstice still in it. So a lot of these teams are going to be fighting for it, and I want to see, I want to see how it turns out, because you've got a couple different teams. Team Ambition, Clown Gaming, they've got multiple teams in both these. So it's really important for them to, kind of make a statement and get as many of their teams into this final gauntlet as they can.
Exactly, and that's, I think, something that is, I think, pretty important here for a lot of the organizations, right? Team Ambition, Clown Gaming has a couple of teams in this one, GGZ even. Like, when you're talking about the organizations that are involved in these in these divisions and in these games, it's definitely important that you want to be able to be showing off and to make these happen. Would love to see, maybe some of these teams that are both in the same represented by the same organization to go up against each other. But then also, like, when we look at where and what's going to be happening later on down the line, we've also got to be looking at the AM Worlds Tournament that Ivar was able to announce in the Aegis announcements, I believe, earlier this week. Aegis is part of that representatives for the Amateur Worlds. That is gold level players. There's even a platinum level one, which involves, organizations like Runeterra, like the Elemental League, like Victorious, like Risen, and the Optimal Champions League, among others. And these are tournaments that not only prepare you for Worlds, which is going to be coming up here starting at the end of May, but then also the opportunity to be able to practice for that, see maybe some of your competitors as you go into the playoff season as well. So organizations, regular teams that aren't involved in an organization yet, it's very important that you're able to get these practices in and get these wins in for sure.
Yeah, like you said, that's going to be huge, because you've got Runeterra Academy, Elemental Academy, Zero Gaming Gravity, Rise in Esports, so many of those organizations that we as casters know very well, and if you follow these kind of scenes, as well. That's definitely going to be able to help some of these amateurs get into it. So I'm looking forward to that. But what I'm looking forward even to more is to see, how some of these teams are looking to develop. Right, you've got such great talent, you've got such strong talent. I want to see how they kind of get into it as they start to go through and get into this amateur worlds, because I'm looking for that. I've never been able to cast for those. I've only been casting for the last year or so. So I'm excited to see what that is at that level of gameplay.
Exactly. And it's important to be able to represent gold level players, platinum level players, diamond level players in, very high competitive, high value tournaments. Well, it's nice to be able to be productive in, a weekly league like the Aegis Guardians League, be able to have the opportunity to show that you are one of the best gold rated teams in NA or even the world is still an accomplishment to behold, because it does show that you have made progress as a group. It really incentivizes not trying to abandon ship when things go wrong, being able to stay with a certain team so you can build that synergy, build that composition. And gold level games can be just as exciting as platinum or master or even LCS level games if you give them the chance, which is why I'm so excited and happy to be able to cast, some of these gold level players. I have to say, I have never casted. I have not casted lower than gold. I haven't done any iron, silver, bronze division games. I've heard that they are clown fiestas.
It's a blast to cast, especially as a play-by-play. You get to talk a whole lot during those games, I tell you.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And I would love to be able to go in and trying to be able to and do that once in a while. But I do enjoy kind of the gold level area, the kind of platinum gold level. I feel a lot more comfortable in those areas. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of excitement, a lot of action. The lower that you get down into the divisions, for sure. Speaking of which, just getting some updates about what the delay is, because we are a little bit behind schedule now at this point. Looks like a player is running late. Hopefully we'll be going in as soon as possible.
Running late no longer. They're actually drafting as we speak.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say that I was going to let you finish, and they've gone through all of the first half of the band.
Oh, they're going in.
Into the picks. They're deep in it.
There we go. All right, so let's jump right into it. Imperial Gaming going to be on the blue side. Clown Gaming Aristocrats will be over on the red. Quickly, the bands coming out. Orn, Kindred, Anivia from Imperial Gaming. Clown Gaming Aristocrats going to go with the Rise, the Amumu, and the Twitch as their three bands here in game number one. Imperial Gaming going to first pick the J4, pretty strong early game jungler. Clown Gaming Aristocrats going with the flexible picks of the Poppy and the Lux.
Yeah, I like a lot of the bands that we're seeing here. We've seen Orn picked a lot for the side of Clown Gaming. We've seen Captain Can't Carry on him a couple times. We haven't been able to see, and I'm a little sad about this, I don't think Noble Bark's been able to play a J4 game, but I love J4. I think he's got a lot of wombo combo potential with several different champions. Like you said, a huge early game jungler, and a lot of gank potential. So I like the J4 pick. Corky's still very strong as well. I kind of like how Imperial Gaming is shaping up right now.
Exactly. I mean, you pay attention to all the initiation and the front line that they have now with the Nautilus coming in. So you got the Dredge line, you've got the Depth Charge, along with Flag and Drag and Cataclysm coming in from the J4. You have created a lot of initiation and a lot of safety for this Corky, especially as we get into the team fight stage. One issue that we are seeing right now, though, with Imperial Gaming's lineup is the lack of early game in the lanes. J4 is really effective, but if they don't find the Flag and Drag and there's no follow-up CC, which is not going to be happening from the Corky, those ganks are not going to be as effective as they could potentially be. So very important, I think, for Imperial Game to find some CC and maybe an early lane or an early game lane so that J4 can really capitalize upon that. Clown Gaming Aristocrats pick up the Jhin, which paired with the Lux, if it is a Lux support, is a lot of CC for this Poppy in the jungle potentially. And Clown Gaming Aristocrats, they're worried about the potential snowball that Imperial Gaming has. They're banning out the Zeri.
And that makes sense. I mean, Zeri's just been so strong here lately. That Lux, though, I would expect to see that in the mid lane. Clown Gaming has had Easton 8 on Lux, I think, over 5 times this season so far
Right.
in the game. So I imagine that that is going to be going towards the mid lane, which still leaves that support open. But in those team fights, that's going to be a dominant pairing for the Gen Lux, especially if you have a Poppy who can just run in there and really get things going for you. And we see the Leona taken out, so they're getting rid of that Leona to pair with Jen, and I love Leona. She can peel, she can engage, she can do it all. She's just a, if you gave her a heal, she'd be the best champion in the world. And there's
Yeah.
the Thresh. So we're going to see lots of strong bans in the second half. I like what we're seeing here, but it looks like Clown Gaming Aristocrats going to go ahead and get into the first half of the pick phase here, or the second half of the pick phase.
Yep, R4 I think is going to be your support lineup here. Get your top lane or maybe even your jungle pick because Poppy can flex to the top lane if they wanted to go for it, but pick up your support. You have lost a lot of the traditional engaged supports here in Season 12. We got the Leona, the Nautilus, and the Thresh all taken away thanks to Imperial Gaming's bans, which is going to really, I think, pinch what Clan Gaming Aristocrats is trying to be able to do in the bottom lane, and they have gone all the way down to the Galio. It could be Galio support. It still could be a flex pick Galio mid. So I think, keep that in mind that, while we have seen a lot of plays from Lux or from Easton, this could still be a support Lux with the high impact, great counter initiation that Galio is able to provide. So let's see what they decide to go with that. Imperial Gaming, they are getting the Kaisa along with the Trendemir. So there's not a lot of CC there's not a lot of CC in the mid lane, but there's definitely CC in the bottom lane. There's enough CC with the Mocking Shot in the top lane for J4 to be super effective here for Imperial Gaming.
And Noble Bark played Trendemir earlier this season, went 8-0-3, so we know he can be effective on that Trendemir. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on that top lane and how he decides to play that. I'm going to be looking really forward to that Trendemir if he can pop off again. But yeah, I mean, both teams are set now. You got Camille locked in for the last pick coming out of the side of Cloud Gaming Aristocrats. And again, their top laner has played Camille and done a very solid job before. 3-1-5. That's what you want. You want not a lot of deaths. Just stay in your lane, do your thing, and get it done. So I think this is a great setup for, we were talking earlier in the pregame about how this is two teams that need to get the win here to put themselves in a position to try and lock in that second place, or at least that high ranking for the play-ins. And you've seen them show up today. They're locking in comfort picks. They're locking in solid wombo combos. Like you said, you've got J4 that can just go in, flag and drag, lock his Cataclysm down, and really put somebody in a pinch. You've also got the Galio, though, who can really lend support in a good roam or something like that. So you've got a lot coming out of both these teams to make things happen. I'm excited to see where they put everybody. I'm not too worried. The only question I have is that Galio Lux. I'd like to see him toy with us a little bit and maybe switch that up.
I think it would be decent. I think it would be a decent choice. I think Corki and Galio is still a very heavily favored Corki matchup, even in the early game, just because of how much damage he's able to put in with his Gatling gun. And then once he hits rockets, Galio, there's no way. Like, Galio would have to headbutt in, try to go for the taunt, and if he misses that, he's taking so much damage in those trades. Poppy is, of course, going to try to be there to try to go in for some assistance, but Valkyrie is such an effective counter-ganking tool that I think Imperial Gaming understands that Corki should be fine in the mid lane, whether it is the Lux or the Galio. Lux, I think, is going to be a little bit more difficult because the Loosen Binding has so much power to be able to stop the Corki from being able to use those Valkyries. The Valkyrie is, like an 18-20 second cooldown. Lux's Loosen Binding is like 9 seconds or something like that.
Half the amount of time.
Exactly. So there's plenty of opportunities here for Clan Gaming Academy, or Aristocrats, pardon me, Clan Gaming Aristocrats, to be able to put in a lot of pressure in the mid lane. I don't think that Imperial Gaming is going to be going towards that angle against the Lux. I really want to see J4 focus on these side lanes.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see. I want to see how the J4 works with Tryndamere. I want to see if you can get him big, keep him in a side lane, really try and draw one or two people up there and put the Camille on a back foot. That's definitely going to be, I think, the plan there. Same thing with that Corki. Corki takes a while to scale up, as you mentioned earlier, especially since the adjustments to his passive a couple patches ago means he's not quite as viable until he hits that 10-minute mark. But once he does, threat level alpha. He is going to be still a big threat on the map. And then you've got Kai'Sa and Nautilus who can just, I mean, let's not lie, they can chill in that bot lane. I don't think they have a lot of threat. If J4's in the area, they can make something happen, but if not, they can play it safe, farm up, let the other two side laners get big, and then be there for the team fights.
All right, fair enough. As we get ourselves, I think, almost prepared to get into the spectator delay, got a couple more questions for you, Charles. First question is, what is my over-under for Tear of the Goddess pickups this game is 2. Over or under, Charles?
I'm going to go over.
You're going to go over. You think there's going to be 3 tiers?
Yeah, if we're looking across the whole board out of all 10 of them, I'll say we got a chance to see 3 here.
Got a chance to see 3. I think that is the expectation, that we could potentially see 3. I think that we're going to be guaranteed at least 2 Tear of the Goddesses here on the side of Imperial Gaming with Cybele and Paradigm Shift. Corki and Kai'Sa both really enjoy being able to get the Manamune. I had the treat of seeing a mid Kai'Sa a couple of days ago
really?
in a diamond level matchup, and what I learned in that one, people were talking to me about that and what the strategy is if you do decide to go tier, is you have to be able to get Tear of the Goddess immediately, and you have to basically, rush to the Manamune, so that you're able to get that 6 mana per cast, because she stacks it up extremely slowly. The only thing that you're really going to be able to use with it is her Q. So if she does decide to go Tear of the Goddess, it's going to take a little bit longer than, say, Cybele with it. There's obviously the chance for, Poppy for a bound to go for the Tear of the Goddess and go for the Fimbulwinter. Galio, same thing. So definitely a lot of opportunities there.
I mean, I'd say if we don't get to see 3, you're right, we're definitely going to get to see 2. But I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, Corki, Kai'Sa definitely makes sense. You can see it on the Poppy as well. I could also see it going on. Could we see Lux go with it? Maybe, I don't know. It's going to be a toss-up, but I'm betting on 3 at least.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun here. I'm going to be very excited to see how it plays out in probably one of the most impactful games that we are getting in the Zon division, if not the AGL this week. Imperial Gaming versus Clown Gaming Aristocrats is the featured matchup here tonight. Before we go any further, I do want to give a huge shout out to our producer, Smallcrum. Without him, everything would not be as beautiful and as seamless as it was. And with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. We're about 90 seconds away from finishing the spectator delay. So go get a drink, go get that snack, because this is going to be a banger of a series. You don't want to miss it. This is the AGL, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everyone, to the Aegis Guardians League. This is our Game 1 matchup. We've got ourselves a 5-point play coming through from Imperial Gaming in blue top side. Meanwhile, 5-point game over on the side
Yeah.
of Gaming Aristocrats as well. Charles, doesn't look like we're going to get any action, though. Both teams wanted it.
No, they got a great idea. They just decided to run to the opposite side of the map. So unfortunately, we don't get to see any early game clash here. That would have been a fun little setup for both these teams to see who comes out on top and kind of get the ball rolling. But the game is on and we're on the rift, so I'm excited. But they will get spotted on vision there on the top side.
Yeah, worked out much better there for Clown Gaming Aristocrats because they dropped the ward. Shout out to Abound dropping that ward there at the input choke point near red buff, which gave them the opportunity to then go for the ward down over there at blue. So that is, I think, a pretty major improvement there. Nice first major win macro-wise for Clown Gaming Aristocrats as we get ourselves started. Both junglers, Abound and Cooper, deciding to go for their blue buffs, which means we're going to get some symmetrical jungling here, Charles.
We won't get to see them bounce into each other yet, but I'm okay with that. That does mean we're going to see J4 looking to focus on the bot side around that 330 mark, see if there's any kind of opening there, and we'll see Poppy run up towards the top side, maybe put Noble Bark in an awkward position if he pushes in a little bit.
Exactly, and we'll see if they can make that happen. Noble Bark is just continuing to trade in, trying to get that extra crit damage. Did get a nice chunk of damage against Northward, which will force him out of one of his pots. Bark also using Ghost there, so I mean, at the end of the day, for pretty decent trade, I would say, for Northworth. Comes out of it relatively unscathed. Meanwhile, looking at other lanes, pay attention to what and where Easton 8 is going to be able to put in power here as this Lux. The early game is where Cybele is going to have the worst time as this Corki. The earlier that the game is, the less power that he has, and so he's definitely going to, be bullied here for a little while, so he has to be careful about that. And then you have initiation tools on both sides, Physiology and Swag EP. If they can land their CC, that could potentially be a big play for either one of them.
Yeah, as you said, if that knock-up taunt comes through, deadly combo, especially if he gets on the paradigm shift, gonna be a rough day. But on the flip side, Swag EP doing the same thing over to kills could put him in a bad position. But here we go.
Wow, nice little combo there from Kills. Gets the Deadly Flourish route along with the Force Shot onto Swag EP, which gets him down to about 300 HP. That is a pretty massive trade in favor of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. We also see that Cooper is in the area, went for the 5-point clear, and is now looking to maybe go in for a play here in the bottom side. Knows that there is no ward in the area. Let's see if they're going to be able to find something. It's going to be Dredgeline potentially, but no. The lane is not in the correct state, and so looks like CJ Cooper is going to try to go back. Let's see if he does. The question is yes, and no gank there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. They pushed that in a little bit. They're not in the right position to make anything happen, especially with no vision and Cooper just right there in the area. But it's okay. He's going to reset, get back into the jungle. I think he's pacing pretty well against the Poppy right now. So he's going to feel pretty good about this, and I expect to see him making a move here on the top side here in a little bit, maybe here shortly after he gets rotated over.
Abound will be back to base a little bit later than Cooper. He went for the full clear along with Scuttlecrab, so actually he's going to get a little bit of a better back as the Lucent Binding does land onto Cybele. Just going to continue to get that little bit of damage in. But Bound is going to get a little bit of a better back here and is going to be able to have a little bit better of the camp control as well, thanks to staying in. That fail gank is just going to give even a slight more advantage over the Clown Gaming Aristocrats once again. Comparatively, Cooper was able to pick up boots and a longsword. Abound, boots, a ruby crystal, and the cloth armor is going to be the exchange. So nicely done, Abound.
Yeah, if they run into each other, you're going to feel a lot better about Abound's positioning. But again, J4 is just running through things. I think he's going to, if they run into each other, I'm still thinking Cooper is going to have an okay time, especially with how pushed up the bot lane's been. If they can get back and rotate up, it's going to be rough running for Abound.
Full range on Noble Bark there, was able to
Hmm.
get a nice chunk of damage against Northward. Northward does have teleport. Noble Bark's ghost is back up, so we actually did not get punished for using that early summoner spell. Was able to push forward, is going to be able to go back full HP, no problems, no issues there. Northward gonna have to stay back a little bit longer, but an even game top side and a fairly even game mid side as well. Easton 8 a little bit out of mana, so maybe not being able to threaten a kill at the moment, but is definitely still feeling good here as we could potentially see a play bot side. Nope, the wave is too strong, Charles, and Paradigm's just gonna clear that out. It's gonna be kills and physiology going back.
And yeah, like you said, everything's relatively equal across the map. We have J4 hovering in the area, and we still see physiology over in the area. He's not going to quite spot him out, so that's unfortunate. It looks like an early drag going to go over to the side of Imperial Gaming here.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the idea from the Imperial Gaming Squad. They recognized that they can force out this dragon. They went for the early back on Cooper. They went for the earlier back on Paradigm Shift and Swag EP, and their reward will be the Cloud Drake at around the 620 mark. Prep for that Ocean Drake at the 11-ish minute mark. So, 33% chance. Hold that thought. Bark's gonna get a lot of damage on Northwick. Okay, hold that thought. Charles, 33% chance. It's a Hextech Drake, an Infernal Drake, or a Mountain Drake for the Soul Rift here today. What's your prediction?
My prediction, I'm looking into the future. If I know right, it's going to be a Hextech.
Hextech, nice attack speed. That static shift slow could be huge for Imperial Gaming if they do end up going for a cloud or for a dragon stacking win condition. While we were doing that, though, a little bit of thievery. Bound was able to pick up the blue buff and actually is going to give it over to Easton 8. So a solid pickup there. Not going to get punished for it at all from Imperial Gaming. And going to now be able to pick up their own blue buff. So nicely done, Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
Yeah, that was a nice little trade-off, and it's definitely going to help Easton a little low earlier in the mana department, so definitely going to just help sustain and help with that fight in the mid lane. She's already feeling pretty good where she's at, but yeah, she's definitely going to be feeling a lot better about it. Excuse me. I was going to say something and it left my mind. It was about... oh, yes, it was about the dragons. So yeah, I think it's going to be a Hextech. I could be wrong. And I definitely think that would benefit Imperial Gaming, absolutely. If you're on the side of Clown, though, I think you want to see something else. I think you want to see something like a Mountain Drake and start stacking those up 4 or 5. If you get a Camille, a Poppy, a Galio, all with that little tank build with that extra little bit of shielding, they're just going to have that much more sustain for those fights, and it's going to be that much more to cut through. So I think both teams are going to benefit differently based off what we see here.
And I think we're starting to reach that critical point where, objective control is going to be fairly important, but kills, I think, are abound here momentarily. Swag EP has continued to look for dredge lines, and while he's been fishing pretty excessively, hasn't caught anything yet of value. Cooper, though, is going to be careful. Flash coming through, and it's a steal from Abound on the Rift Herald. Massive play on the top side of the Rift. Dredge line into the depth charge onto Kills. Physiology going to flash away. It's going to be Swag EP pretty low, but it's Cybele now that's in trouble. Flashing away from the dash that Abound went in for. Overall, that is a massive win for Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
2 huge fights, right? Aristocrats able to go ahead and lock up the Rift Herald there. Beautiful steal from Abound. It's unfortunate. J4, I don't know if he just wasn't ready for it or didn't expect it, but wasn't quite able to get that smite off in time. And boom, great fight there. And you have to blow the flash over on Corky as well. So it's huge. Oh, we got some action.
Yeah, Physiology very low. Paradigm Shift gonna flash forward. The Acathian Rain will get first blood over to Imperial Gaming, striking back.
And then we've got fights breaking out everywhere. I mean, you were talking about it just a moment ago. Kind of a slow start, but kills abound coming left and right. And that's a little playoff of our Poppy here. But yeah, we've got first blood going over to Kaisa. Beautiful engagement there. He tries to use the ult to give himself a little extra protection, has to dip out and isn't able to do it. He dies. You've got basically a great answer back from IG to try and say, okay, you can have Herald, you can have a couple summer spells. We're going to take first blood then. No big deal.
Exactly. We can take a look at the gold really quick, see where that puts Paradigm Shift. As the Cataclysm comes in, Kills is in trouble, trying to be able to survive. It's Cooper that picks up the kill. That is a 700 gold advantage now for Paradigm Shift in the bottom lane. Kills is definitely going to be feeling that when Paradigm Shift comes back, and because of the kill and the gold going over to Cooper, he is now an even gold with Abound, who is 14 CS, 14 jungle camp CS in the lead in the jungle there. So big plays bottom side here for Imperial Gaming.
Yeah, Imperial Gaming feeling really good about where they're at now. Everything relatively equal across the map, except for that Kai'Sa has, like you said, almost 800 gold lead now. And if we look at the itemization, coming back with that Dirk, coming back with the Caulfield, coming back with an extra longsword, just got the tier and the Berserker Graves tier 2. Definitely going to be dominant, and she's up about 15 CS or so, right? There's your hook for you.
All right, Dredgeline landing on Abound, but Keeper's Verdict was used. Earlier than that, Easton did have to flash away, but Paradigm Shift is now all alone. Gonna get rooted, gonna get stunned, gonna fall, and Paradigm Shift will fall to Kills, giving that gold back, but a Dredgeline gonna land onto Kills now. Great! Beautiful final spark, gonna get a lot of damage, but it's gonna not quite be enough. Noble Bark is going to be a target in the bot side, but will be able to get away. Easton 8 getting hit upon and will fall. Noble Bark with the Undying Rage will pick up yet another kill for Imperial Gaming. It ends up being a 3-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I mean, Imperial Gaming's got to be feeling great. Uh-oh, we got more action. The flash comes out.
Yeah, Bound trying to be able to maybe clean something up out of it. The Undying Rage play from from Noble Bark, but instead gets nothing. And Imperial Gaming with the roam from Noble Bark going to pick up those extra 2 kills and the Drake. And unfortunately, no Hextech Soul here, Charles. It is the Mountain Soul.
I was so close. But this is great. I think Mountain Soul, like I said, I think that would really benefit Clown Gaming Aristocrats. So I want to see if they start to prioritize trying to get a 4-stack on. And you did give Camille the opportunity to get that little bit of a CS lead. She now finds herself with about a 400 gold lead up against that Tryndamere. So when she gets her back off, things are going to be a little bit more equal. And here goes the Herald going down in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, no choice there. Abound was almost out of it. This was the best opportunity that they had with Kills and Physiology. Now back in the area, going to get the guaranteed 2 armor plates from that headbutt. That's going to be split evenly between Kills and Abound. So getting a little bit of extra gold there and stabilizing the Rift for the time being. It is about 1,000 gold advantage for Imperial Gaming. But yeah, I mean, those big kills going to give a big tempo shift over to Imperial as they deny a lot of the power that Rift Tail might have had.
Yeah, it's just they were. Ooh, here we go more.
All right, hold that thought. Bound's gonna try to maybe get the stun onto Swaggy P. Gonna be the curtain call used. Gonna get Paradigm Shift down to about 2/3 health. Swaggy P is in trouble now to about 300 HP, but will be able to get out of that one. Exhaust used by Paradigm Shift to make sure that Abound cannot get in. Cybele is gonna be targeted with a lot of damage, but couldn't quite find that kill there. So Easton 8 going to use ultimate, not going to get anything out of it. Exhaust used from Paradigm Shift in order to keep Swaggy P alive, but the play is not over yet. Swaggy P is going to fall to Abound, and it looks like to be a double kill. Cooper's going to come in, going to pick up 1 against Abound, is going to get the Cataclysm in onto Kills. Kills is the target, and it's a double kill for the side of Imperial Gaming. Cooper on a killing spree ends up being 2 for 2.
Great job from Cooper. Wonderful read. You see the 3-man dive coming down onto the bot lane there for Imperial Gaming. Clown Gaming Aristocrats does a great job of executing on that. The ult comes through from Galio to give you a little extra time, but Cooper, right there, right time, gets a double kill, trades it right back over, and puts some pressure on him. And like you said, he's on a killing spree. He's going to start to feel really, really strong in these team fights, especially when he's locking down that cataclysm. I can get words out on those folks. So. No, but yeah, J4 right now, Cooper is just doing a great job of reading the situations and getting in there when he needs to. And he's doing a great job of being an effective jungler so far. So I love what we're seeing out of Imperial Gaming right now.
Yeah, it's a 1,300 gold advantage on the side of Imperial Gaming. We've got Hex Flash coming in from Abound. Not going to be able to get the stun onto Swaggy P as Depth Charge gets used as well. This is a 3v2 play. Swaggy P looking to flash. He does have the chance to go for a Dredge Line and will. Paradigm Shift, maybe looking to playing a little bit of bait here, but Kills has a lot of movement speed, is going to try to find the Deadly Flourish, and will force the flash out of Paradigm Shift. We've also got Physiology now maybe in trouble. Teleport getting used by Northwards in preparation for potentially another major fight. Pardon me, that was Easton 8 that used the teleport. Nice roam from Cybele to maybe force that out. So that is not going to be available in a minute 20 for this Mountain Soul here, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely started to get nervous there for Paradigm Shift, but of course, Cooper was in the area. Great read on everything, letting his presence be known. Beautiful flash from Paradigm Shift. You don't want to have to use it, but I think that was the right time. Otherwise, that was going to be a gray screen for Paradigm for a couple moments. So, nice little back and forth. Great job out of Imperial Gaming, though, dragging, like you said, that teleport out from Easton so that it's not available for this dragon fight that's going to be in less than a minute. But it is going to be up on... oh, no, he just used it. Well, okay. So, teleports are down across the board besides Northward, so that's definitely a potential advantage over to the side of Clown Gaming, depending on how they play this out.
Exactly. Noble Bark will have Flash available for this fight, but Paradigm Shift will not have Flash available for this Mountain Drake fight. What this means for Imperial Gaming is, if they decide to fight for it, they will be at Soul Point for a potential Mountain Soul at around 22 minutes or so, with the Drake spawning in 15 seconds. They've got to make a decision here. Northward has yet to roam down, but neither has Noble Bark, so this could still potentially be a 4v5 situation. Meanwhile, we've got Swaggy P looking to go in for the flank against Eaton 8, and will find the Dredge Line into the depth charge against Easton, but Easton going to be able to use the blast, going to be able to get away. Curtain Call getting used. Paradigm Shift with the plasma damage onto Abound, but it's not quite be enough. Disaster for Imperial Gaming. Abound picks up a kill, ends up being 2 for nothing. A shutdown over onto the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Valkyrie, the package being used, but it misses a lot of the damage it could potentially go for. Physiology all alone. What are you doing? Imperial Gaming off the back of Cybele and Swaggy P bringing this one back, keeping it a 2 for 2. Cybele looking to go for the rockets against Abound and Kills. He's trying to be able to maybe find another kill onto Kills before they have to go back. The rockets trying to land. He's got the big one next. Not quite enough damage as the teleport getting used from Northward. Cybele now way out of position, using the Valkyrie. Swaggy P flashing forward, and now the blast cone. Swaggy P is all alone, and he's going to be sacrificing himself for the cause. Northward will pick up a kill there, and it ends up being 2 for 3 in favor of Clown Gaming Aristocrats, but the fight is not over yet. Cataclysm used by Cooper is going to take down Kills. It's going to be Northward taking the kill onto Cybele. Physiology going to go in, trying to be able to get the taunt, and does onto Cooper. Into the stun from Abound. Paradigm Shift trying to deal a lot of damage, and that's a huge flag and drag from Cooper, but will it be enough? Cooper is left all alone. Noble Bark is on the way. Northward is on a killing spree, and now that is Easton 8 getting the kill onto Cooper. Noble Bark trying to pick up a second one and gets the double kill. He's looking for the triple. He's looking for Northward. He wants it. He got the triple kill and now has Undying Rage. Does he get out of it? He's trying to heal away, and he will, and that ends up being a cluster of emotions and everything. That is like 5 to 4 in favor of Clown Gaming.
I mean, you have the double kill start off going to Poppy, not where you want the gold, but okay. Cybele answers back, beautiful place to place it, and now we've got more action going on. Swaggy P.
No way Swaggy P takes that kill. Okay, no. Continue.
Okay. I was about to say, I got nervous there for a second for Easton. She was laying down some damage for a moment. And after all that, nobody gets the objective. That's the crazy thing. After all of that bloodshed and all of that back and forth killing, we don't get to see the dragon actually taken or anything there. So it's a cluster, but it's a fun one to watch and a fun one to cast.
Yeah.
We've got more action.
Yeah, we saw Killer Instinct used by Paradigm Shift. Easton had to use Flash, and now Abound is in trouble. Paradigm Shift is way low. Curtain Call getting used. It's going to be Cybele trying to be able to take the kill, and he annihilates them. But now Cybele looking to be able to do much more. Can he get it? That's a triple kill for Cybele in the Cataclysm, and the kills keep on coming.
3-for-3 trade back and forth, but of course, Northward just been up in this top lane, unchecked, gets that first turret, puts Noble Bark in a rough position there because his ult is still down for a couple more seconds. And this could be a rough engage. Ooh, beautiful little back and forth there.
Nice little dancing from Noble Bark. Yeah,
really,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, after you.
I just did like 2.5 minutes of play-by-play. I'll let you talk. Pardon me.
No, you're good. That was, like you said, a beautiful little dance there. I like that he just sat on that other side and perfectly timed it. So as soon as he saw her start to go over, blast going away, and it's like, all right, bye-bye. And now he's back up to full health like it never even happened. So Noble Bark, beautiful little outplay there. But yeah, I mean, these teams going back and forth. And again, the Drake still stands. That's what all this fighting has been starting over. Nobody's got the objective. But you see, these teams are starting to really kind of solidify what their play style is. You're going to let Northward kind of just split push the whole time. You're going to have Noble Bark come into those teams.
Wow, Noble Bark. That's a play there. That's huge. Mm-hmm. Noble Bark uses Undying Rage and is able to get the kill on to Northward. He's down for 30 seconds as Paradigm Shift was able to take the kill on to the tower. That's Brick in the bottom lane and in the top lane. And now the Dragon is looking like a very juicy target. Paradigm Shift's going to land the Void Seeker on to Physiology, Final Spark, and Deadly Flourish onto Cybele. Cybele is extremely low, down to about 150 HP. And so far, no one has been able to take the Dragon yet, and it continues to be a back and forth. Abound, maybe looking to be able to find Paradigm Shift, but cannot. And with Cybele being very low, he's going to have to go back. He does have Teleport to be able to get back into this fight and will be there. Noble Bark just continuing to be in the top lane, going to be able to pick up red buff, going to be able to pick up Raptors, and continuing to get camped. Cybele with the Rockets, looking to be able to maybe get another play here in this choke point. Cooper knows that he has a Cataclysm, he knows he has the power, and he knows he has Curtain Call, but now Northward is on the way. We've also got Noble Bark coming through, and Cooper is the target. Gonna get knocked up. Can he even get the Cataclysm down? The answer is no. Physiology will pick up the kill. A massive Final Spark there from Easton will get so much damage. That's kills with a double, but now can he survive? He cannot. Noble Bark is dominating, but he will fall before he can survive. He ends up not having Undying Rage, and now it's Cybele against the world. Physiology, Abound, and Easton 8 are still alive for Clown Gaming Aristocrats, and it's Cybele looking to maybe go for a steal. The answer is no. The Dragon stacking is done, and Clown Gaming Aristocrats pick up their first.
Yeah, I mean, 4-2 in favor of Clown Gaming there. Just like you said, really great plays coming out of the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. You've got a beautiful Final Spark out of Lux there. And Paradigm Shift, I've noticed this, tends to be out of position a little more often than not. Whether she's trying to bait, or he or she is trying to bait those out, trying to just get a flank on the position, she needs to just be mindful of where she is at during these team fights, because she keeps getting blown up, and then it's a little bit of a rough run for them after she gets taken out. So definitely got to go ahead and make sure that she is stepping up a little bit for, or at least paying attention to where she is in these team fights. But the mountains are finally starting to, the mountain drakes finally starting to go down. We see them starting to stack up on the side of Aristocrats. And even with this back and forth, there's less than about 1,000 gold difference, right? We're 23 minutes in. It's felt like Imperial Gaming has been in the driver's seat for portions of this. But we're starting to see Aristocrats really answer back and make them feel like, hey, you guys aren't as strong as you think you are. We can win some of these. So I like that we're getting this, fight tooth and nail to try and get this. Oh, kills, almost taking a big shot there.
Yeah, a lot of damage from these Void Seekers now from Paradigm Shift, and we haven't really had a chance to take a look at it because there's been so much action going on. So let's kind of take a look at where we're at item-wise. We've got Muramana unlocked for Paradigm Shift and Cybele. Theoretically, At this moment in time, this is when Imperial Gaming should be at their most effective. Luden's Tempest as well as Muramana on Cybele, he is so strong. Same thing with Paradigm Shift with that Nashor's Tooth and that Manamune. They are going to be dealing tons of damage. 2 kills, to East and 8, to Northward. It's going to make it really difficult for Abound and Physiology to keep them all alive and peeled off. Gore Drinker unlocked for a long time for Cooper. Navori Quick Blades picked up for Noble Bark as well to just continue the onslaught of Swift pushing. Northward is going to get caught out and is going to be the target. That is Noble Bark picking up a big kill there. The only objective that's up right now are towers and Baron Nashor, and it looks like Imperial Gaming is looking to go towards these towers for a little bit, but also with Northward down and with Abound showing bot side, they might be looking for a Baron play.
Yeah, I mean, you see Poppy down in that bot lane having to answer to the Tryndamere, and you have man advantage across the map. Put it to use. Get that Baron going, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Thankfully, Aristocrats reading it. They drop a ward down there, and they see what's going to happen, and that's okay. Look, you've got Noble Bark down on the bot lane. He's just going to continue to take advantage of this, and so either way, you're either going to get turrets or you're going to get the objective, and we'll see how it breaks down here.
Curtain Call getting used. The Baron's down to about 3k HP. Keeper's Verdict does not land, and it's a steal! Oh my god, it's a Abound with a second steal in the Baron pit. Cybele's gonna get shut down from kills, and it is a massive play for Crown Gaming Aristocrats. They take down 3, and they're looking to make the 4th one, but take a look. Bot side, that is Noble Bark continuing to take down structures. He's taken down 2 towers. He's looking to take down the inhibitor, but no, he can't get it. And Imperial Gaming, oh man, what a fumble.
Yeah, that's first off to lose Baron. It hurts, right? It hurts so bad. Great steal from Abound there. Poppy just coming in at the last second, gets that steal off. Beautiful job. Play of the day so far. I love it. And then they just get wiped in the fight. You've only got Noble Bark up. He is able to get 2 turrets off of it, but definitely going to lose more than that here in the Baron push coming out of Aristocrats.
Noble Bark, like, he is so mad. I think that they're so mad that he wasn't able to get that inhibitor because that is so big for him not to be able to get it. He gets almost one shot. He has to use Undying Rage to be able to survive, and so unfortunately the play does not work. Swaggy P gonna get hit by the Lucent Binding, but it doesn't actually play out. 30 seconds remaining until Baron spawns. I don't think that this is a play that Imperial Gaming can go for. Northward is going to find the hook shot, and Anderson Cooper's going to be able to get a nice flag and drag to the back line. Can he get anything out of it, though? He has Guardian Angel, and he will indeed revive. Physiology is going to fall, but now Cooper is going to die in the process as well. Northward, not going to be able to get the hook shot, gets hit by the depth charge, and it's a shutdown. Cybele picking up a kill there, flashing away from the final spark. It's going to be Cybele trying to be able to pick up the kill there on 2 kills, but he can't quite get it. He was just enough HP remaining, and he will survive, making it a 2-for-1 for the time being. Mocking Shout going to get denied. East and 8 with a nice face forward to deny any extra plays. Abound could potentially be the target here, and it is going to be the target. Killer Instinct getting used, and Paradigm Shift will keep it even, making it a 3-for-3.
And that's huge for Imperial Gaming. That's 3 members that don't have Baron now. That sets you up in a great position to try and put yourself on the soul point. You didn't really lose any objectives off of that Baron March. And you took kills down to, like, what, less than 90, less than 80 health? And there goes your there goes your Drake right there. So Imperial Gaming definitely feeling great about it, at least trying to answer back after that kind of messy play over at Baron. We won't talk about it. It's okay. But they do get an answer back here, and so they're feeling back in this. They got a 2,000 gold lead. They're starting to stack up that Dragon to Soul Point now. They've got the pressure. They've got a little bit more momentum. So if you're Imperial Gaming, you're thinking, just don't throw this. Keep letting Noble Bark do his thing. Let him sit in the side lane. Let him come to clean up all the kills, even if we fumble the ball a little bit, and we can win this. If you're the Aristocrats, you're thinking just the opposite. Stay away from Noble Bark. Let's get 4 people killed on the other side of the map, and then we can hop in here or blow him up either way.
Undying Rage getting used as Noble Bark is going to be hit into the Hextech Ultimatum. He's going to get shut down, and it's a double kill for kills, and that is exactly what Clown Gaming Aristocrats wanted. They end up evening out the kill count, and Physiology looking for more. Gonna get the taunt onto Swaggy P into the Deadly Flourish route. Swaggy P gonna be able to drop the depth charge onto kills. And Paradigm Shift moving a little too far forward is going to get hit by the hook shot. Going to get hit by the curtain call. That's a shutdown. And 3 for nothing, 4 for nothing in favor of Clown Gaming.
And just like that, it was tied up again and now in favor of the Aristocrats. Clown Gaming, great answer there. They said, just kind of like I was saying, either stay away from him or go all in on Tryndamere. They opted for the second option. They go all in on Tryndamere, get him to just get deleted there, use his ult, he's taken out. They follow up that fight, 4 beautiful kills, Cybele the only one managing to stay alive, and now they're going to get steamrolling in their favor. They've got that mid turret, they're going to get this bot side turret, they're going to have a lot more pressure when it comes to the dragon fights now. They are really looking good, and this is a great back and forth series. 1 minute it feels like Imperial Gaming is just on a roll. The next minute it feels like Aristocrats are just answering back and taking everything they want off the map. Both these teams not letting go. They want to get a good position in this division, and you can feel that these teams are just in it for the excuse me, they're in it for the gold. Like, they want this so bad, and you can feel that out here on the Rift.
Going for the gold indeed. If we can take a look at gold really quick, shout out to Smallcrum once again. Massive gold lead though for Cybele. 13,000 gold for him, 14,000 gold on Noble Bark. That's the Navori Quick Blades, the Infinity Edge, and the Kraken Slayer that he has. He is still a split pushing menace, but kills also at 13k. Collector, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Gale Force, and is looking to be able to get that Lord Dominic's regards. Deadly Flare is going to be used on Swaggy P once again, but he should be okay. And that's something that we really have to take a look at. Imperial Gaming has an insurance policy with Cybele as a level 16 Corki. Normally, when you have multiple members of your team with a Tear of the Goddess item, it's when you have that 2-item power spike that you are your most powerful. That same idea cannot be said when you have a Corki. Once you hit level 16 and you get to that 3-item power spike, you're pretty massive. Oh my god, Easton 8 with the final spark. Huge play there for Clown Gaming Aristocrats, and a nice pick.
Yeah, and with Baron up, you can see all the members pinging over. Let's get Baron up and going, especially with Noble Bark down on that bot side. This could easily be Baron going over to the side of Aristocrats and put them in a big advantage. They've already got about 1,000 gold lead. Nobody can really answer him. Cybele's trying to run over there, but I think it's going to be too little too late. This could be Baron over to Aristocrats, and this could be them starting to really get the ball rolling in their favor. Oh. Or not.
Yeah, Clown Gaming Aristocrats, I think, respecting the power of the package from Cybele as a jet charge, and the Dredge Line Physiology is going to go down. That's the power of a level 16 Corki. Noble Bark will get the inhibitor, and that was the play that they wanted earlier, to get the inhibitor down, and Noble Bark will finally be able to get it. Swaggy P is now in trouble, flashing away. Can he survive? He cannot. Kills is godlike. Paradigm Shift may be in trouble now as Easton 8 tries to be able to find the Singularity, and does. But now it's Easton 8 trying to be able to find something northward, trying to be able to find Paradigm Shift and Cybele. He has Tech Ultimatum and gets it, but it won't be enough damage. Paradigm Shift will take the kill on northward. Meanwhile, the fight that Cooper and Noble Bark were facing up against ends up forcing flashes out of kills and Easton 8. And with the Dragon up in 9 seconds, Imperial Gaming is looking to be able to secure that win condition.
Again, back and forth. Every time you think something's going one way, it ends up going another. Baron looking like it was going in favor of the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. I thought that was going to go well for them, but they back off. Like you said, they respect the Corki. They end up losing the team member there. They end up losing Inhib. They keep the fight going. And again, this Corki, J4, Tryndamere have just been on one. They have beautiful wombo combos, beautiful damage output, great positioning. They end up isolating Northward down there and just get it shut down. And now they've got Soul. So they are definitely going to be in a really good position for this next team fight that we're going to see break out here, likely around Baron in a couple moments.
The only stopgap to Imperial Gaming's potential dominance of this game is kills as this Jhin, and Easton 8 with a great Lucent Binding into Final Spark. built for the burst damage that he could potentially get with the Horizon Focus, the Luden's Tempest, and looking to be able to get that Shadow Flame as well, is very close to being able to pick that up. Kills 11, 6, and 9, picks up the Lord Dominic's Regard, and now Noble Bark is looking to be able to deny that. Kills is legendary, and is trying to be able to survive, and does use a Gale Force to get away. We've got a lot of damage on a Noble Bark. He's trying to be able to survive this one. Oh no! Keeper's Verdict. Using that will be able to keep them alive, and Cybel's gonna go on a killing spree. A Bound actually giving a huge play over to the side of Imperial Gaming as a Bound falls, Northward falls, Physiology falls, and Imperial Gaming are gonna take that to the bank as they teleport in. They're looking to end the game here, Charles.
Oh yeah, they're going for the win right now, and why not? You've got Death Timers that are huge, only 2 members up on the side of Aristocrats. And what was a Bound thinking there? Just knocks that Trendaminder out, who is as good as dead. His ult was coming to an end there, so that's definitely going to be something they talk about post game, hopefully. Paradigm Shift takes a lot of damage, but still alive.
Yeah, okay, Cooper flashing forward. They know, oh my gosh, the big one dealing the damage, and oh man, Charles.
You gotta wonder
verdict.
If a Bound doesn't knock Trendamir away from that fight, does that fight go differently?
Yeah, definitely.
Do they feel the momentum in that situation? Do they get that kill? Do they start to rampage? Instead, you knock out 2 members, but you leave Cybel well and open over there, who's just like, okay, if we didn't lose anybody, I can go ahead and run amok here, and ends up just taking it to the bank. 3 kills go down, and the end of the game shortly after.
What a game one, though. What a game one. We had a Rift Herald steal. We had a 5-4 kill fight at the 3rd dragon of the game. We had a Baron steal. We had 0 aces throughout the entire game. Everybody had 1 person alive throughout the entirety of the match. It didn't matter what, and it ends with a really tough play from the Clown Gaming Aristocrats. That is rough for sure. And
I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, it's best of 3 series. So if you're on the side of Cloud Gaming Aristocrats, you do a quick debrief, you talk about it, you say, okay, we were really competitive through most of that game. It was one little, unforced error, nonetheless. It was one mistake that cost us the game there. Any other situation, I think they would have been able to keep this game going another 5-10 minutes, and we could have seen a completely different outlook to the game. Is it unfortunate? Yes. Not how you want the game to end if you're on the Aristocrats, but if you look at it objectively, they were competitive the whole time. They were able to get that steal. They were able to keep team fights going their way. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's over. I don't think it was like a complete trouncing on. It's not like Imperial Gaming just ran them into the mud. So I'm excited for game 2 to see how they come out, especially with a little mental reset. This is an opportunity for Aristocrats. They can either mentally just go down the drains and say, we were so close, what happened there, and have some infighting, or they can reset and say, no big deal, we got 2 more chances to do it, let's get in there and win it.
Yeah, that was a banger of a game. Like, honestly, shout out to both teams, really giving it a back and forth battle and showing us, why they are top contenders in the Zon division here at the AGL. Really strong split pushing from Noble Bark, really great responses from the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats, and they're ready. Like, they are so pumped to be able to move into game number 2 that we're just gonna, I think, jump right into it.
Looks like that's the way, yeah.
Yeah, sides are going to remain the same. Imperial Gaming is going to stay on blue side. Clown Gaming Aristocrats will stay on red. If you're Clown Gaming Aristocrats, what do you think is the what's the medicine to be able to make sure that even if a mistake like that happens, that it doesn't result in a loss like that?
Man, that's a good question, right? Because I mean, realistically, because I think they actually knocked two people away, right? It was Trendemir with somebody else.
Yeah, it was
So even
Cooper. Yeah, it was Cooper and Noble Bark that got hit by that.
okay, so even though they didn't get the kill, they still had man advantage in that fight. It just went south quickly. So, um, I don't know what the recipe is for that particular situation. I think you just need to have tight communications, right? I think that's an opportunity to learn that if you're on the side of aristocrats, you've got to be a little bit tighter with your comms. Hey, I'm going to do this right now. Does that make sense? No, don't do it. Everybody's yelling in a team fight. I get it. But I think if you have solid communications in that situation, you don't make a mistake like that. So I think the medicine is maybe not such a simple answer as like a gameplay or an answer in terms of like what should you do there, but more of like solid communication would have solved that, so it didn't even happen in the first place. So that would be my answer for aristocrats to kind of have that reset. Is talk it through. Have a shot caller, let them know what's going on, and just take a second to think about what you're about ready to do.
Yeah, and I think that's important in any rank, in any division, in
100%.
any tournament, in any game. You want to be able to maybe, pause. Sometimes it's important to be able to take that pause, take a deep breath, and say, hey, we need to be able to find the best angle to go in for this fight. Maybe not taking every fight and stepping back a little bit, because you could potentially make the case that, the game was so much for Cloud Gaming Aristocrats once they were able to pick up Baron, right? They got 3 kills against that. They were able to deny Noble Bark from being able to get the inhibitor. And so at that point, Cloud Gaming Aristocrats, they now have tempo control. They have the ability to be able to decide and dictate where they want their resources to go in. They could go back, they were able to reset, they were able to go back, and they were able to decide, hey, this is how we want to use now this gift of Baron to catapult us into a win condition. And as you stated in the game, that Baron did nothing for them, right? Like, it did very little to be able to stop it. They ended up going in for a fight, I believe, at Dragon, and it ends up resulting in, 3 members of Baron going down, or 3 members with Baron going down, and no actual pushing power to be able to get it. I mean, that's the big power of being able to get Baron. You get a little bit of stats, but you give these minions the powered up power of the purple buff to be able to push forward. The siege to be able to make it happen, it is pretty major, and it provides so much of a win opportunity for them to be able to make it happen. So, maybe looking back into that one, say, hey, we got the Baron, let's take a deep breath here and say, hey, what could we have, or what can we do here with this Baron? Where do we want to go with it? And what goal do we want to have with this objective?
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. And I think they did that several times where they would win a team fight, they'd win an objective, they would put themselves in an advantageous position, but for lack of a better word, kind of squander the opportunity, right? You find yourself with Baron, you have this ability to be able to siege, get yourself some additional pressure, put yourself in a great position. You lose 3 members in a team fight and you don't have the buff anymore. You find yourself in a great position able to take out Trendemir, Noble Bark, who has a huge influence in these team fights, who is dominating in the split push, and you knock him out of the team fight and you let Sybil go through and run amok. You have this huge fight going on at, that first... what was it, the third Drake, the fight over Mountain, where that fight goes on and on and on and on and on. And there's several opportunities where you could have probably just rushed it down real quickly, but instead you've got people chasing kills instead of objectives. So I completely agree. Taking a second to just talk about what do we want to accomplish? What does that look like? How can we make that happen? Those 3 questions can get you into a totally different space, as opposed to saying, ooh, low health bar, ooh, low health bar. It's hard to do, I get it. I'm not the only one who's chased a kill here and there. But I think a lot of times they found themselves chasing those kills or chasing those health bars, as opposed to really taking advantage of their position in the game.
Indeed. And with that being said, that could be an opportunity for growth as we move into game number 2. It does look like we are about ready to begin the draft, so definitely be prepared for that. Game number 2 is going to be on the way. Imperial Gaming was able to take a game 1 victory very close game between Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats. It ends up resulting in Imperial Gaming taking game one with the chance for them to go in a 2-0 sweep against Clown Gaming Aristocrats. But with how close that game was, it can go either way. This could be a game 3 situation, and now let's jump into it. Imperial Gaming, blue side, first ban of the game, it's the Ord.
They're going back to it, just keeping northward off of the Orn. He's been on it a couple times, like I said earlier in the season. I think the bans are going to be pretty standard from what we saw last game. We see the Twitch, we see the Kindred. Lulu's interesting. It looks like they've taken Lulu out early, but I think that could have something to do with the support that we have this game. Last game it was... Who was down there with Paradigm Shift? Am I forgetting the name that quickly?
The Galio. It was Galio for Physiology, and then it was
Physiology,
and then it was Nautilus for Imperial Gaming.
My question is, who played Nautilus? I can't remember the person's name off the top of my head that quickly.
Oh,
right? It's
oh my
there.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing to me?
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. Either way, they have a new support. Ren is back in the position. Was not in the last game, so they are going to be retargeting their bans towards a different support, which I like the adaptivity. It shows that they're paying attention. It shows that they're kind of on it. Ren has played several Nami games this season as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Nami ban in the second half.
Oh, I remember. Swaggy P. That was his name.
Oh, was Swaggy P down on the bot side?
Yeah, Swaggy P was
Yeah,
down
because Cooper was up in the top, in the jungle. You're right. So they swapped everybody around a little bit there. Now we've got Rin in the support, Swaggy P up in the jungle role for this game, and Cooper is not in the game this time. So good call out. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. I knew it was there. I was like, wait, who am I missing? But we see some of the bands come through. They are going to take out the Poppy. Imperial Gaming saying, you know what? It did help us win, but we don't want to deal with that anymore, so no thanks. They still prioritize the J4, which I like. And we see Clown Gaming Aristocrats putting the priority on Karma Trundle. How do you feel about that?
I mean, J4 gets picked up, and J4 definitely has a lot of power in the early game, but Trundle, with the opportunity to be such an anti-tank bruiser in the jungle and has the power to sap away AD, is definitely going to give a lot of hindrance what J4 is able to do in the super early game. With the Karma getting locked in as well, you have the potential for a lot of early game bullying in blue side jungle from Clown Gaming Aristocrats. The Trundle and the Karma have the chance to really be super effective there and still be effective as we move into the mid and late game. It's an Enchanter support. We've seen how powerful they can be. It's a Caitlyn that are going to round out the bottom side of the Rift. Now keep in mind, this Karma is an extremely flexible choice. We could see it go top lane, we could see it go mid lane, we could see it go support. Seraphine's going to be locked in as the last pick for Imperial Gaming, another flexible option.
And I love what I'm seeing out of Imperial Gaming so far. If they're able to get some good solid tanks here in the second half, IG has a beautiful team set up. J4 and Misfortune combo, just stupid thick. It will tear through a team. I love it. And if you can layer the Seraphine ult on top of that to give J4 a good setup, or Misfortune as well, then you've got a really strong wombo combo just out of those three. So I'd love to see a little bit more tankiness come out of these last two picks, and we could find ourselves with a banger of a team coming out of Imperial Gaming.
Well, Imperial Gaming, I think, worried about the potential counter wombo combo that could come in. Easton 8 was really effective on the Lux. The scoreline didn't really show it, but the power of the final spark was really, really effective. I think Easton 8 only got like 2 kills that game, but had a ton of assists and a ton of damage throughout the fight. And so really, really big to be able to get that picked up. With the Poppy being banned out in the first round of bans, along with the Camille and the Lux, one of Easton 8's really top tier picks, the Anivia, is coming online as well. And Anivia is another option that counters the Cataclysm for Imperial Gaming. It slows everything down and makes it very difficult for them to find it. Akali and Yasuo are our final 2 pickups here for Imperial Gaming. What are your thoughts on that?
Complete opposite of what I said, so that totally makes sense.
Right.
No, I like Akali. especially if I've seen a lot of people doing the tank Akali's. Like I'm expecting to see that. Yasuo, I mean, and now we've got Alawi coming through. Okay, so Alawi is just playing on 1v9ing in the top lane and never seeing anybody during the game. Beautiful, beautiful job. Not how I expected this to go, I won't lie. But I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I'm down. I think it's going to be a wonderful show. Yeah, I like the Akali Yasuo. I think that's a lot of damage output, and it's going to make for a fun series. Absolutely. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the frontline option there to give the setup to those top three. But we'll see how it all plays out. Every time I said something last game, I was wrong, and it ended up working out in their favor. So hopefully this goes their way as well.
And you bring up, I think, an excellent point in terms of, with the Alawi being that 1v9, the expectation there is that Clown Gaming Aristocrats doesn't need to bring the Trundle up to the top side of the rift. There is no reason for the Trundle to be up there, should be fine on her own. She is a big girl that don't need no man to protect her, don't need no troll to protect her, as the game would say. So Northward, I think, is going to be able to have that ability there, but Abound now with options to either go mid lane or bottom lane, and has the power to be very effective with the CC that is available on both lanes. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit conditional for both sides. Like, you have to be able to land the stun, the wall has to be in the right position for the Anivia, the root has to land for the Karma into the extra root for the Caitlyn, but it is there, right? Trundle has his own CC of his own with his Frost Pillar, able to slow down. So if we're looking at the placement of these team fights, that's going to be massively important here, because we have a lot of terrain that could potentially be built in this team fight. Crystalline Wall from the Anivia, the Ice Pillar from the Trundle, and the Cataclysm from the J4 are going to limit these corridors and really make it very difficult for everyone to find the correct placement correctly. Whoever has the better placement of their champions could be there. And you were talking about the misplacement and the missed, I think, misalignment of where Paradigm Shift was in game one, now exactly. Being this super mobile ADC. If she is out of position, if Miss Fortune is out of position, she is a sitting duck for Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
Yeah, if Paradigm Shift isn't on her game about where she's positioned in these team fights, it's going to spell disaster for Imperial Gaming. Because as you mentioned, Miss Fortune is definitely, Kai'Sa's not the most mobile, let's not lie, but it feels like there's a little bit more freedom there. Miss Fortune doesn't have that kind of luxury. So she's going to get either blown up, or she's going to have to be in position to make those big plays, especially with her ult being so position relative, right? Kai'Sa has a little bit more wiggle room with her ultimate in terms of positioning and everything. She can get in there and whatnot. But Miss Fortune is completely dependent upon being in the right position at the right time to maximize her ult for those team fights. So it's definitely going to matter. I think one thing I want to bring up is both these teams have gone a little bit more spicy. And it's going to be one of those things that you have to execute on, or you're going to find yourself dead in the water, right? If you're not able to execute on your draft, as you said, really utilizing Anivia's corridor, putting that ult down for the Cataclysm, making sure Alawi doesn't have to come down to those team fights, allowing Trundle to really kind of get that bot lane and that mid lane fed. If you're not able to really execute on that on those plans, then you're going to have a rough game. So I want to see how they play this out. I want to see the communication out of Aristocrats too. If the Aristocrats can really talk through some of these fights, like there's a lot less opportunity to mess up like they did at the end of the first game of the series. So we maybe might not notice it, but I definitely want to see the comms tighten up a little bit from this team, because they did such a beautiful job in so many of those fights, and then the macro kind of fell apart. So I want to see that tighten up a little bit in this the second game of the series.
Exactly. And so now we got the opportunity to be able to see how this plays out. It is an opportunity for Imperial Gaming to close out the series and make this a 2-0 sweep against the Clown Gaming Aristocrats. But Clown Gaming Aristocrats are still a formidable team, and with the power that they were able to bring to the table in Game 1, there is definitely an opportunity for this to be a Game 3 opportunity for sides. You guys definitely do not want to miss it. We are just about ready to get into the spectator delay, so give us about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and we'll be ready to get into this one. This is the Aegis Guardians League, Imperial Gaming versus Clown Gaming Aristocrats. We'll be right back.
Everybody panic! Hold on! I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser. Always ready to cry. Da-da-da-da. Aw, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
All right, everybody, we are back. This is game number 2, set to begin between Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats. We've got Moose and Charles Elroy here at the caster's desk. Charles, game 1 was really fun, and game 2 is sure not to disappoint.
Yeah, I mean, game 1 was a back and forth between these two teams. Each time you thought one of them was kind of in the driver's seat or kind of thought they were going to be taking the game away, the other team would answer back. Baron was stolen by the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Dragons were gotten by the side of Imperial Gaming. You had triple kills, double kills, answers from ganks, dives, everything that you could imagine, except for an ace, which we pointed out. But now we're back in it, and both teams a little bit more reserved. They're not going for the 5-man stack invade or the 5-man anti-invade. They're going for the 5 points, a little bit more standard. Both going to start on the bot side with their bot side duos leashing. So we get a little bit more of a conservative start to the game 2.
And every game is different, every build is different, and every comp is different, and we are seeing that here in game number 2. And of course, Aegis Guardians League is sponsored by, we've got Pro Comps, 25% off your order at Aegis 25, the official partner of the AGL. Check them out. They are great. They're going to help you improve your game if you do indeed want to improve. Super important to always be updating and getting yourself better and mostly improving upon your play. I will never be a good player, pro comps or not. I'll just be a washed up commentator or something like that, and I'll be okay there. But
who doesn't want to get better?
Who doesn't want to get better? With that being said, though, let's get into it. Noble Bark, once again, no teleport here in the top lane as this Yasuo. Flash Exhaust to go up against Northward and this Alawi. Speaking of which, Cybele, though, does have Flash, does have teleport here in the mid lane. Noble Bark going to go up against the Alawi. Any thoughts on that as we see Noble Bark get a nice trade?
I mean, Noble Bark is doing a good job of cutting through early, but Alawi's one of those champions that eventually, ooh, beautiful stun.
Yeah, a lot of damage. A lot of root there coming in from Rin. Paradigm Shift will follow up with a little bit of damage there. But continue. Go on what you're saying.
Another damage there. My goodness. Yeah, so either way, I do think that eventually that Alawi is just going to get too big to be dealt with. At least by Noble Bark individually. Noble Bark is going to be doing a great job of running through Caitlyn, running through Karma, running through Nivea, maybe even cutting through the Trundle. But, ooh, we've got another little bit of action here.
Yeah, this is a 2v2 play. A Bound is a full HP. Noble Bark and Swaggy P are maybe looking to be able to find something. Swaggy P was just playing the Nautilus with Flag and Drags, and we could say in the early game that his Flag and Drags were a bit lackluster, to say the least. But with that being said, a Bound was able to get the Scuttle Crab, does end up winning in that exchange, and his ATS in the lead against Swaggy P. Stun's going to land onto Cybele once again. The Akali not really online until they get level 6, but for now is still alive.
Yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, you see both the jungler and the mid laner on the side of Imperial Gaming a little low. Uh-oh.
Oh, Flag and Drag used by Swaggy.
There's a lackluster Flag and Drag for you.
He survives. That's what matters.
No, but both of the Imperial Gaming jungler and the mid laner are a little bit behind the 8 ball right now, but I think they're going to take off here a little bit later once they get into real champion mode. What I'm going to be keeping my eye on, though, is this top lane. I think that's where a lot of it's going to come down to. If Yasuo is able to hit his... There we go.
Yeah, if Yasuo is able to hit that damage is important, but Paradigm Shift and Rin have been able to hit their damage as well. Physiology going to get hit by the Exhaust, is going to get rooted, and a flash from Paradigm Shift is going to get first blood. Kills is the next target. It's going to be making it rain, and Paradigm Shift with a quick, easy double kill for Imperial Gaming.
Beautiful job out of Paradigm there to read how low he was and to get that flash off for the first blood. And then to turn over and get that double kill. That's definitely going to help this Imperial Gaming bot lane get the steam going for them. They're going to find themselves up a lot of gold, but Trundle looking to mop it up.
Paradigm Shift is the target. Rin very low on mana, but Paradigm Shift has a lot of damage. Is trying to be able to get in, but it's a shutdown. A Bound flashing forward be able to pick up one. Rin is going to slow. Flag and drag used by Swaggy P, and Swaggy P will clean it up, making it a 1-for-1 trade.
That's one thing we saw last game a lot of. Swaggy P reads good counter ganks. He is often there at the right time, right place, and it gets, does a great job of mopping up those low health targets in those early ganks. So, beautiful job to see that that's still what he's doing. I like it. I'm expecting to see a little bit more of it as the game goes on. But as I was saying, I'm sorry, this top lane is really going to be where we see, I think, the game really made, right? If Yasuo can hit his 10 death spike, whether that's kills or dying, he's going to be a threat on the map. On the flip side, though, if Alawi is able to get big, it could be a rough day for the side of Imperial Gaming.
Well, unfortunately, ends up being a 1-for-1. Noble Bark recognizing that he was too far forward. Northwork using Leap of Faith there to be able to secure the kill on to Noble Bark. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. Rin is going to land another root, and Physiology gets deleted. Paradigm Shift, third kill of the game.
Paradigm Shift, 3 kills, 6 minutes in, feeling really good about life at this point. And except for that, it's going to be a rough way to go back to the fountain.
Oh no, Paradigm Shift. I mean, shifting the paradigm there, unfortunately, gets rooted right under tower. Kills with a pretty effective trap. We'll get 3 turret shots to be able to zero the death Paradigm Shift there, and keeping the kills within 2.
And we talked a little bit about Paradigm Shift taking stock of where they're at during these fights, positioning and stuff. Stepped up a little bit too far, could have backed off a little bit, sidestep, just being mindful of their surroundings, and it ends up biting them in the butt a little bit. But it bites them in the butt with a 3-kill lead, well, a 2-kill lead over the Caitlyn, 3 kills total. And coming back with the Dirk and that Vampiric Scepter already against 2 longswords, this is going to be a very unfair fight in lane for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, Make It Rain is still pretty effective. Double Up is pretty good as well. And of course, Bullet Time, once it comes online, is obviously the most powerful part of Miss Fortune's kit, is what she's really known for, the just massive cone of AoE damage that she's able to provide if she lands it effectively. But speaking of effectively, speaking of ultimates, Cybele is now online, has the perfect execution to be used. So will be a little bit better in lane, and has gone through the awkward early laning phase that the Akali normally has. Only behind about 9 CS as well, so is performing quite effectively there. Cybele going to get a lot of damage onto East and 8 for using the perfect execution, and will be able to get Agnivia spawn, trying to be able to maybe pick up a kill here. He's staying a little too long, will not be able to pick it up, and has to flash away from the Glacial Prison, and now might be the target of a death. Cybele is in trouble, trying to be able to dash away, gonna get hit by everything, and Easton Aid, well, he falls to the, he loses the resurrection, will pick up the kill.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, like you said. Was there just a bit too long? That being said, it takes 3 people to kill him, right? You've got to bring up the Karma, the passive is procced over on Anivia, and a bound is in the area on the Trundle, and he certainly takes them on a little bit of a goose chase, almost all the way back to their tower. So great job from Clown Gaming to get that kill there, but a nice little, I don't want to say waste of time, but a nice ability to draw them in. In the meantime, though, we have a pause, it looks like.
A pause indeed. Hopefully it is not too much longer to come back from that. I mean, pauses do happen. It is 12.5. Arguably, 12.4 was probably one of the worst patches in terms of spectator client that we have had in recent history. The Ivern problems, the pardon me, not the Ivern problem. Yeah, the Ivern problem.
I mean, Ivern was a thing, yes.
Yeah, the Zinzao and Renata issue still has yet to be resolved, as well as the Senna TK, which are denying some of the more powerful options that are available in the meta right now. Really looking at that Senna TK as that issue. But we are back from it. Swaggy P was able to get to the mid lane to deny a little bit of the power that is coming, or that was taken there, with Cybele going down. Back coming in from Easton 8, the only Tear of the Goddess on this map. It's going to be on Easton here, going for that Seraph's Embrace sooner rather than later.
And good call last game, exactly too. I would have lost that bet. I'm glad we didn't follow up on it until now,
Huh.
because well, you read that perfectly. Um, but yeah, we've got a great game going so far. A lot of back and forth. Everything's still relatively equal. Imperial Gaming a little bit of a lead, but I definitely think that as we get into the late game, um, the side of Aristocrats, Cloud Gaming Aristocrats are definitely going to be in a good position, or potentially a good position, to get the ball going in their favor.
And at the moment, like you said, a slight advantage in terms of gold over on the side of Imperial Gaming, but now an objective advantage for Imperial Gaming as well. They were able to pick up the Ocean Drake about 3 minutes ago, and this time no steal from Abound. That's gonna be Swaggy P this time with the Rift Herald take. 2 nice neutral objectives picked up.
Yeah, Rift Herald is great for them too, having a little bit of that advantage, getting the lanes going, getting that gold early. Last game we only saw 1 Rift Herald taken, so I want to see the teams take advantage of the second one. Obviously not as impactful, but it certainly definitely still gets some of that additional pressure to either finalize a turret or potentially even get some damage on the second one early, so that you've definitely got the other team on the back foot. But here we go.
Kills is going to be the target. He used the 90 caliber net to be able to get away from the Cataclysm. That is exactly why the Caitlyn was picked up, and it makes that trade in favor of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Abound is able to come in to make it a 3v3, and now Rin is in trouble. He does have Encore. He's going to use it into the bullet time. Oh my god, what damage there. Paradigm Shift gets the double kill, and disaster for Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
Beautiful positioning there out of Misfortune. Redeemed from that little misstep underneath turret earlier. Great job there. Reading the situation, they're clustered, it gets that ult off, secures 3 kills for them, and turns that one rough engagement out of Swaggy P and a blown summoner into 3 kills.
Oh man, Northward bouncing back. Noble Bark will fall after using Flash. That is definitely not what you want to see, but a little bit of a bounce back there. Unfortunately, though, because YGP was able to pick up the Rift Herald, that means first tower and first gold damage going to go over to the side of Imperial Gaming. That will increase their gold lead to about 2K. Take a look at gold really quick, see where it stands at the moment. A 5-2-2 Paradigm Shift Misfortune is going to make them massively in the lead against kills. Eclipse lined up as well as Berserker Greaves, along with 5 turret plates worth of gold. Going to be really strong.
Yeah, definitely in a commanding position. Looking at the itemization, already, like you said, done with that Eclipse, moving on to long swords, tier 2 boots. Meanwhile, Caitlyn still working on her first item, only got the new quiver. But it looks like the second Drake is going to get started up here. And this could be very reminiscent of last game, where we might be able to see one of the longest fights drawn out over the course of 5 minutes, all for a neutral objective here. Let's pay attention and see.
Crystalline Wall was used. Flash from Easton to be able to get away from Paradigm Shift, who also flashed. Bullet time is about to be active. And, well, we have a little bit of a reprieve, Charles. I'm going to give you my prediction. It's going to be the Hextech Drake. It's going to be a Hextech Soul, a Hextech Rift Game 2 here today, as we get to see maybe here in just a second Rin. Okay, Rin is reconnected. That's not an issue. Gonna be able to come back. It's an Infernal Drake, and I am wrong as well. We get the Cloud Soul and the Cloud Rift.
I would have said Mountain for what it's worth, being honest. I thought about saying Cloud because that would make it not quite as interesting, but I would have said Mountain out loud. So we're both wrong there.
Well, I mean, that's all right. You know, we have to be wrong eventually, and that's gonna be it. Testa or Leap of Faith used there from Northward to be able to get a little bit more damage on a Noble Bark. That's actually gonna force the Yasuo out of lane, which is exactly what Northward wants to be able to do. Just push out the Yasuo, make it impossible for him to have a fun game, and has been doing a pretty good job of it. Is going to have a 3 turret plate advantage top side. If we could take a look at the gold and where the gold is distributed here on the players, that would be phenomenal. I don't know if Smallcrum is listening to me. Let's get shout out to Smallcrum. Listening to me, baby.
Small crumb.
Yeah, gold toggle,
Please.
please. Thank you, sir. All right, there we go. We got Malcolm coming in. A little bit of a hard time for him, but regardless. No, 1,000 gold lead here for Northward, but it is a 2,000 gold advantage for Paradigm Shift and this Misfortune, which is exactly where you want your gold lead to be if you are Imperial Gaming.
Yeah, the Misfortune feeling large and in charge on the map. 2,000 gold ahead of her laner and 1,000 gold ahead of the next closest person. Alawi being 1,000 gold ahead, that feels good if you're going into the Aswell, but I think she's going to be separate so much that it's not going to be the biggest deal in the world to deal with. So we'll see how it ends up going. But yeah, that Misfortune is definitely going to be feeling like a like a truck when she hits with the next ult. So I want to see how that feels when she layers that down on top of the next team fight.
You know, feeling like $1 million. You know, just feeling pretty good, pretty happy about their position. Paradigm Shift knows how powerful he is, and now they're looking to be able to maybe find a kill on 2 kills, but can't yet find it. Kills will be able to get away thanks to the 90 caliber net, and will be just fine. No objectives on the Rift rather than the towers. Rift Herald spawning in less than a minute to potentially be able to give the second Rift Herald, maybe over to Imperial Gaming or to Clown Gaming Aristocrats. If it does go over to Imperial Gaming, that'll be the third neutral objective for 20 minutes going over to the blue side.
Yeah, they've done a great job of focusing on these neutral objectives in both games. They missed out on the Herald the first game of the series, but they were all over those Drakes early and often. And they're doing the same thing this game. It looks like they're going to make the run for this second Drake second Herald as well, just like you said. So they're doing a great job. Imperial Gaming, they find themselves up about 1,500. They look like they're communicating over what they're trying to do. They want to get these objectives, make sure they're in the right place, right time. You've got Misfortune, who's got a significant lead. If you're on the side of Aristocrats Gaming, you've got to kind of find a way to step into this. Right now, it feels like you're kind of playing their game, they being Imperial Gaming's game at this point. And so you've kind of got to find a way to get back into this and get yourself some control.
And your way back into it is going to fall upon Eastern 8 and Kills being able to get to those massive item spikes. Kills is on the Gale Force and has that big mythical item available for repositioning, as well as a potential execute power that it does provide. Eastern 8 is also on an item and a half-ish for the Leandry's Anguish, as well as the Sorcerer's Boots, and is about 30 CS in the lead against Cybele on the Akali, so is definitely, I think, happy about that. But remember, once Eastern 8 is able to get to that second item, that Seraph Embrace is going to provide so much extra power and utility, extra health regen on to the Anivia is going to make it harder for them to be able to take the kill onto him. So very important for Clown Gaming Aristocrats to not let the lead get too much further ahead, because if you do, it does kind of mute out the power of the 2-item power spike that Cheer of the Goddess provides.
Excuse me. No, you're 100% correct. They're in a critical point right now. You're right at that 20-minute mark. Baron's starting to come up. You've got Drake coming up, third Drake of the game coming up here in less than a minute. And as you mentioned, you've got some itemization points that are going to be really critical here. You need to play smart. You need to play strategic. I don't want to say aggressive, but you need to be clever about how you do this, because right now you've got a strong Misfortune and a strong 5-man team trying to put some pressure here in the mid lane, drop that Herald, and go get this soul point. So we'll see what happens as the fight starts to unravel as we speak.
Yeah, Rift Herald was dropped. It does look like they will be able to potentially get it taken care of, but a Bound is going to flash forward, going to try to be able to take it, but cannot. Soul Point is now online here as the Cataclysm get used into the Encore. A lot of damage onto Northward, onto a Bound, and Paradigm's just going to be able to go on a killing spree, picking up that kill. Perfect execution from Cybele. Trying to be able to stay in the Shroud. Will stay alive far longer than expected, but it will not be enough to stop Paradigm Shift from coming in, and it's a huge play for Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Will they lose the dragon? They pick up 4, almost 5.
I thought it was going to be 5 there for a second. Yeah, huge play. Early smite from Bound takes the dragon down to, I think, about 90 health or so. Makes it a real easy pickup for Swaggy P. After that, though, it looks beautiful from the side of Imperial Gaming. They get the Cataclysm, that is a tongue twister, Cataclysm in there, and then you have the bullet time drop down for Misfortune. However, after that, it falls apart. Bullet time doesn't connect any of the kills over to Misfortune there. Paradigm Shift gets engaged on, and Alawi just runs amok. Next thing you know, 4 members down for the side of Imperial Gaming. Gold swings over to the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats, almost 2,000 in their favor now. And they find themselves with the pressure. They find themselves with the team fight advantage. They find themselves with that itemization starting to come through now, as you were mentioning. And it's going to be another banger of a game. I love it. We're getting a back and forth. Really good series so far. Thank you very much to both of these teams.
It was 1,300 gold. 1,300 gold off of kills going over to East and 8 out of that play. The shutdown onto Paradigm Shift, as well as 2 extra kills in that fight, along with Northward to be able to come in. Pardon me, no, it was Paradigm Shift falling to Northward. He was able to get the shutdown gold. Regardless of that, though, still over, I think 900 gold coming over to East and 8, maybe even 1,000 if there was a shutdown to be had. I don't think that there was, but 4-0-0 on the Anivia means that they pick up the Archangel staff and is very close to being able to pick up that Seraph's Embrace using the power of the 2-item power spike to potentially fullest effect. Rift Herald was used, does pick up the mid tier 1 tower to keep the structures in their favor. They are actually, they are down in structures 3-2 in favor of Clown Gaming. So far, this is a very strong point here for Clown Gaming. Imperial Gaming, though, finding a bound out of position, will pick up the jungler. And with Trundle down, Imperial Gaming has a chance to maybe go for Baron once again.
Yeah, they've got themselves in the position. They've got the right member down. The only problem is, you've got all 4 members of this Aristocrats team in the area, and that Alawi is starting to do some work, right? She's going to be really hard to mess with. So if she decides to step up and put some pressure on an objective fight, you've got to give a lot of respect there where it's due. And that's exactly what we see happen.
Exactly. They decide not to go for it, and you bring up a really strong point. Northward is strong and is built to be able to survive Paradigm Shift. Paradigm Shift opting for the second item, LDR, means that they will have some armor shred, which will really be impactful against Abound and Northward, but there are ways to be able to combat it if you are Clown Gaming. Swaggy P with the Flag and Drag on Physiology doesn't result in any kills, but you got Northward with a Bramble Vest. You've got Death's Dance on that as well. If Northward is able to get to the back line, it is so GGWP here for Paradigm Shift right now, so they've got to be careful about it. And I'm really curious to see what they decide to do here, because the ball is in Imperial Gaming's court. This could potentially be a major turning point in the game. Dragon is up in 50 seconds. Cloud Soul is on the line for Imperial Gaming, but Baron is up as well, and the opportunity for them to make a big choice here is now on the table.
Yeah, they've really got to be smart about the way they play this out. As you mentioned a moment ago, if Northward's able to get on that backline and really put some damage onto Cybele, onto Ren, onto Paradigm Shift, that is going to be the game for this Imperial Gaming team. That being said, on the flip side, if you can get a solid wombo combo out of Swaggy P and Paradigm Shift, then they're right back in this. The goal's about equal again. We see these teams starting to fight over it. Dragon coming up again, Soul Point on the table, and these teams are going to get into it. Let's see how they handle it.
Crystalline Wall was used already as the root does land Northward, using the Test of Spirit, and gets a massive amount of damage onto Swaggy P. And now, Imperial Gaming, they don't feel confident enough. They get absolutely nothing for the scare of Dragon Soul. Clown Gaming Aristocrats easily pick up the Cloud Drake and deny Soul for another 5 minutes.
Just a really good job. And you got, like I said, you have to respect that team. Clustered together as a 5-man, they offer a lot of output. With Crystalline Wall, with the ult coming out of Anivia there, with the ult potential from, just the threat of the ult from Northward into the backline, if he's able to get there, is terrifying. And then you've got Caitlyn with the distance. There's such a good team fight presence coming out of the Aristocrats that you have to be mindful of that. Um, unless they can catch Northward.
Unfortunately, not
No.
catching Northward
Okay.
this time. Shurelius is going to get used. Test of Spirit, but the Encore is going to land onto 3 into the Cataclysm. Northward is the target, but can't get taken down. Northward will take up the kill, and now Teleport's getting used by Cybele. Northward is trying to be able to survive. Perfect Execution is available. Cybele is so low. Northward is unstoppable, and that is disaster for Imperial Gaming. Swaggy P and Cybele down means that Imperial Gaming probably can't even deny this Baron.
No, we're talking about decision making at the end of the last game. I think Cybele going in so deep with that teleport, rough call. You couldn't have known that it was going to be as bad as it was, but I think putting yourself maybe at turret instead and then kind of going in with your team was the right play there. But that being said, that's Baron going over to the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. They now find themselves with about a 3k gold lead. They've got the most recent Drake, so they've stopped the stacking over on the side of Imperial Gaming. You're finally starting to see Anivia and the Alawi come on the line all the way. You've got some great assists coming out of the Karma, and it's really starting to turn and feel like this is Clown Gaming's game to decide what happens here. They're in the driver's seat. They get to decide whether they're going to win or they're going to lose. It's going to come down to what they decide here. Obviously, you hope they choose win, but as we saw last game, sometimes you make a choice and it doesn't go the way you hope. So let's see if they can execute on it.
Yeah, I mean, you had the early game power for Imperial Gaming thanks to Swaggy P and the power that the J4 provided, but it was always going to be a mid-game dominance for Clown Gaming Aristocrats. They knew that they had the power of the Anivia, they had the power of the Trundle, they had the power of everything, but now they may have gone a little bit too far forward. Imperial Gaming trying to pick down a bound, but can't quite do it. Paradigm Shift will actually be able to get the teleport out of Northward thanks to a solid play there. But Imperial Gaming are going to drop 2 here, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I see what they were trying to do there. Maybe turn it around, try and get some action. Yeah, I saw that. That was a quick death for Paradigm Shift. They were just getting picked off by Caitlyn.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like I was stating, it's like, it was clear that Clown Gaming Aristocrats was going to be the powerhouse in the mid game. Noble Bark, Swaggy P, or Noble Bark, Cybele, and Paradigm Shift, they want to be able to get to those 3-item power spikes, and once they do, they should be able to outdamage Northward and kills, and now they're looking to be able to maybe find something here. Northward is the target once again. He has Leap of Faith and will get charmed through. It's going to be Physiology also in there as well. Lot of damage and so much power. It's a double kill for Northward. It's a triple kill for Northward. It's the 1v9 quadra kill. Northward takes the cake.
Beautiful job from Northward there. The charm lands, pulls him in. Not the person you want to charm in a fight at all. Northward just walks deep into their line, takes some damage, pops the ult, and finds themselves taking the house. And that's going to be game for Clown Gaming Aristocrats. We're going to get to see Game 3 in the series, baby.
Oh boy, Easton 8, flawless game, 6-0-0. Northward quadra kill at the end of that one to signal a Game 3 scenario between Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats. It has been a banger of a series, and now one final game is the deciding factor to decide who will win this super critical series in the Zon Division Aegis Guardians League.
I'm ready for it too. This was what we wanted, right? We saw a great back and forth game in this first game of the series. This game, it was nice and back and forth for a moment, but we saw it was just a little bit of a draft diff, right? You have that Alawi who can 1v9, and they charmed her into the team at the last second. Wrong decision. She blows everybody up. You had a very strong Anivia, and even though that misfortune was big, couldn't cut through all of the tankiness that Northward offered. Truly a beautiful job for Northward from that game. So yeah, we get to see a Game 3 now. I'm excited. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be beautiful. What are your predictions? What do you think is going to happen in this third game of the series?
I don't know. I mean, we got to see, I think, the power of the potential 1v9 allowing. I mean, yes, I know it wasn't a 1v9. There was the ace in the hole that came in from kills. There was, the assistance from the rest of the team, but Northward was just so powerful in the top lane the entirety of the match, only died that one time, and was able to just dictate every single one of these team fights. Imperial Gaming, they played a very risky, high risk, high reward comp for game two. They were feeling good after game one, but they played high risk, high reward, and it didn't pay off. I want to see them, well, it was fun to play a risk and maybe go for a little bit of limit testing against Clown Gaming. Now you've realized that you can't do that. You guys are evenly matched. You have to be playing at your best. You have to be playing a comp that you know that you can win with, even if you get behind. And unfortunately, that just wasn't the draft that they had built. And Imperial Gaming just falling short here in game two, taking it to a game three situation, getting us some more fun content here, Charles. What are your expectations? Any thoughts?
I mean, like you said, not enough respect given to the Clown Gaming Aristocrats from Imperial Gaming in that second draft. They went just a little too hard with the carry opportunity in top and mid, and it was really Misfortune that was the one that was executing on all pistons there, but she wasn't enough to carry that game onward. So I definitely expect to see a little bit more conservative drafting coming out of Imperial Gaming. Um, and I expect to see Clown Gaming Aristocrats feeling a little bit empowered now. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them maybe doing not necessarily a little bit more of a spicy draft per se, but feeling empowered in those fights now, feeling empowered in their decision making. They saw, hey, we can win this, we can make that thing happen. And so I expect to see them kind of step up and be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more coordinated, like we saw them in the last game. I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm nervous. I'm feeling all kinds of emotions. Um, but yeah, my expectations are going to be a conservative draft out of Imperial Gaming and a boost of confidence coming out from Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
And with that being said, we're going to jump into the next draft here in a couple of seconds. We're going to take a quick break, a very quick break before we get into the draft for game number 3. Don't go anywhere. This is the Aegis Guardians League. You don't want to miss game 3. We'll be right back.
Everybody panic! Hold on! I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Guardians League. This is game number 3 of our Week 6 featured matchup between Clown Gaming Aristocrats and Imperial Gaming. Imperial Gaming with a clinched victory in Game 1, going to be dominated in Game 2, and now in a 1-1 series, Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats are looking to be able to finish the series with a 2-1 victory. Charles Elroy, I mean, we have been pumped for Game 3, and I'm excited to get it started.
This has been super fun. We've had a back-and-forth series. Game number 1 was neck and neck the entire time. A little bit of a misplay from the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats gives the victory over to Imperial Gaming. Game 2, a very strong Alawi, gives the game to Clown Gaming Aristocrats. And Game 3, who knows what that will hold for us. I'm super stoked for it. It's been a banger of a series so far. I'm excited to see how the draft goes. I'm excited to see how the execution goes, and really how it'll all turn out. Because as we mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, these teams are vying for positioning in the division for when we get into the play-ins. They're currently seated as number 3 and number 4. That being said, it's a very close race, so the winner of this series has a good chance of possibly getting into even second. So it's definitely going to be a very important final game for both these teams to try and get the victory here so they can put themselves in the best position possible.
Exactly. And so we got a couple of updates here just to keep you guys in the Rin, the support that we saw in game number 2 for Imperial Gaming, has been replaced again. Cooper is going to be back in the jungle, and Swaggy P will make his way down to the support row. There were some connectivity issues with him. You saw the disconnects and the reconnects from Rin in game 2, which kind of a maybe alluded to some problems with being able to continue to stay active within the actual fights. Regardless of that, Swaggy P is going to be back in support. Cooper's going to be back in the jungle here for Game 3, and we are ready to get into it. Twitch and Amumu banned out from Clown Gaming Aristocrats, keeping their first 2 picks at exactly the same that we saw in Games 1 and 2. Ornn getting locked out, as well as the Kindred for Imperial Gaming. Caitlyn is banned out from the Aristocrats in Game 3, and the Poppy, once again, is going to get banned out from Imperial Gaming.
A lot of respect given over that Poppy, and I don't blame him for getting rid of the Caitlyn there. Even though the laning wasn't the most dominating coming out of that Caitlyn, definitely had an influence in the team fights, right? So strong bans coming out from both these teams, a lot of respect given over. This is the first time in the series we're getting to see the Aristocrats over on the blue side. So I definitely want to see how that influences the draft, what we get to see out of them, and they're going to prioritize the J4 for this game.
Yeah, now Abound gets to be able to play the J4. The first 2 games, we got to see both Swaggy P and Cooper pick up the J4, but now the Imperial Gaming Squad are going to have to pick a different jungler for Game 3. Abound is really flexing the ability of the pool, of their champion pool, playing 3 different and 3 very different useful champions in their draft, so definitely want to shout that out. Hekram's going to get lined up for Imperial Gaming. Cooper, definitely a very strong Hecarim player. Excited to see what he's going to be able to bring to the table. Going to have to be worried about maybe some early game power difference between him and the J4, but once he gets going, gets that unstoppable onslaught, he's going to be just as impactful as the J4 can be in these team fights.
Absolutely. Now, I don't want to call out Abound or anything like that, but Abound has played J4 earlier in the season, had an 07 and 13 KDA, so I do want to see a bit stronger performance out of Abound on the J4 this game. It definitely needs to step up, make their influence known, take that early advantage and press it to the limit.
And this is a very different draft now for Imperial Gaming as well. Kaisa game 1 for Paradigm Shift. Misfortune picked up in game 2. This time, though, Hecarim and Ezreal getting lined up. So no massive burst damage. No late game carry potential for Ezreal. Paradigm Shift is looking to be all early mid game with that tier and is looking to be impactful Clown getting Aristocrats. Lux, East and 8 was so good on the Lux in game 1, is now looking to pick it up again in game 2, and I would say, out of the entire roster, has been the most consistent out of the squad here in the series.
Yeah, definitely been consistent on their champions here, putting out a solid amount of damage. Like you said in the first game, the KDA didn't reflect the amount of impact that Easton had in that first game. Excuse me. Not Easton. Easton. That Easton had in that first game. Great job with the final sparks, but being denied so many of those kills from the ultimate out of Trinity. A lot of damage through those team fights. A lot of zoning, a lot of crowd control there, but unfortunately just not a lot of kills locked up. So very consistent player coming out of the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats from Easton. We do see the Trinity, mention it and you'll get it, being locked in on the side of Imperial Gaming as well. So we're definitely going to be able to see Noble Bark put that Trinity to use again. This is kind of like Comfort Pick City, back and forth here, right? We've seen a lot of these champions played earlier on in the league, in the division, on both of these teams. So they're really going all out for this last game, which means we're going to get to see a very competitive, hopefully very interesting last game here.
Northward has been sniped here, Charles. Not going to be allowed his first or second game pickups. The Alawi and the Camille are both down and won't be available for him to be able to pick up in round number 3. Now he's also going to get counterpicked as well, because I expect Imperial Gaming to pick up the support. There are a couple of really impactful supports that are still available. Karma. I'm feeling Yumi right here. I think Yumi is the choice for Imperial Gaming. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like Imperial Gaming might go for the Yumi. No, it's the Maokai. Completely opposite of what I was thinking here, Charles.
Little cat, big tree. Different direction entirely. Yep. I like the Lulu with the vein. But yeah, like you said, when you get snipe banned like that, the Camille, the Alawi, you just gotta take that as a compliment, right? They're just saying they're scared to deal with that. They don't want any of that. Can't handle it. So I always take that as a big compliment when I get target banned, which isn't that often, but it's happened, and I felt really good that day. So, hats off to them for recognizing greatness there on Northward. As you said, the final pick coming in from Imperial Gaming, we'll see what they roll with here.
Yeah, and Tryndamere is probably going to go top side. There was the chance that he could have potentially gone at mid lane, but not anymore. Ari is going to be the locked-in choice to be some assassinated damage coming through for them. So, you have a ton of engage coming in from Imperial Gaming. Hecarim, Maokai, with the Unstoppable Onslaught, with Nature's Grasp, to be able to root and fear several opponents and be super impactful throughout a massive area of space. For Ezreal and Ahri to be able to waltz around, get that damage in, and knock down a key crucial opponent, right? The only issue that I have with Imperial Gaming Squad is, ironically, this Ezreal. Looking at the lockdown that you have, Ezreal still takes a long time for him to be able to zero the death of an opponent, right? It's still going to take a little bit of time. I would have loved a little bit more burst from Paradigm Shift here in Game 3, considering that he has so much lockdown. This would have been a great game for Misfortune, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking that same thing. You've got the Fear from Hecarim, you've got the Slow from Tryndamere, the Lockdown from Maokai, the Charm from Ahri. You've got such a beautiful ensemble of CC offered from Imperial Gaming here. And then you've got the Ezreal. Not that he's bad, he's certainly mobile, he offers the global ult, he has consistent damage output, we'll say. But I think there were some maybe better options to lock in there. The Misfortune would have been a fantastic pick there. Even something like a Jinx would have been kind of fun to see here, right? Still offers you the global ult, has CC of her own to pair with the rest of the team now, and a lot more control as far as that goes. So we'll see how they end up executing on it. That's what it always comes down to. But I do like the side of Imperial Gaming. They do look like they have a lot of setup coming out of their side.
Exactly. And Cloud Gaming Academy also has a lot of options to be able to initiate these fights. You have the Lucent Binding from the Lux, which could zero to death either Paradigm Shift or Cybele if they get hit by it. Even if, Easton gets super fed, he could potentially even zero to death the Hecarim or the Maokai. So, I mean, there is a lot of option there. You also have but initiation tools from Gragas with Flash Body Slam, as well as the Explosive Cask, Flag and Dragon Cataclysm from J4, and the Wild Growth for follow-up on any of those initiating tools to knock them up and make sure that the lockdown sticks for Imperial Gaming. Now, with that being said, both Cybele and Paradigm Shift have dashes away from the Cataclysm and the ability to be able to escape some of the damage and the power that the Gragas and the Lux are going to potentially be able to survive. Your X Factor from Clown Gaming, Aristocrats, the Vayne. The longer that this game goes on, the more powerful that the Vayne becomes and the less impactful the Ezreal is going to be. Vayne is definitely going to be something that you need to watch out for. Kills legendary in game 1. Once again, looking to be super impactful here in game 3. Excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The Vayne is kind of going to be where our attention goes, right? You've got a lot of setup coming out of the Clown Gaming Aristocrats team as well. As you mentioned, the ult coming out from Gragas, definitely able to displace and move people around, offer CC there. You've got the dive potential with the Lulu, always a threat. Plus the Lulu Vayne combo, they pair so well together as that hyper carry and that boost go, that she can offer so much with the polymorph, with the speed up, with the attack speed boost. There's so much that Lulu can do for the Vayne in those fights that it's really going to be the bot lane for this Clown Gaming Aristocrats team versus the solo laners on the Imperial Gaming team, in my opinion. I think we got to give respect to Noble Bark. He was dominant in the first game, and he really took over on that Tryndamere. In the second game, a little lackluster, but it's hard to do that. Yasuo versus Lau, I think that was more matchup specific. But then, this third game, I feel lots of comfort picks. I feel lots of setup from both teams. So my expectation is the Vayne is the one to watch for on the side of Clown Gaming and Aristocrats, and the Tryndamere / Ari is going to be who you want to watch on Imperial Gaming. If those two, either one of those two can really kind of pop off and get going, they're going to find themselves feeling pretty good.
For sure. And with that being said, the compositions are locked in. We are in the spectator delay. While we do that, I do want to give another quick shout out to our sponsor, Procoms. 25% off your order with the promo code Aegis25, AEGIS25. Procoms official sponsor of Aegis Esports, a drafting tool for League of Legends and coaches that allow for players and coaches to take their game to the next level. If you are interested in that, you can click on the Twitch link provided to be able to get yourself any information that you would like with it. With that being said, though, we are about 2 minutes away from the spectator client being ready. So, game number 3, Imperial Gaming, Clown Gaming Aristocrats, a 1-1 banger of a series is about to reach its epic and final stage. You do not want to miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aegis Guardians League, Week 6, our final game of the series is now underway. Clown Gaming Aristocrats and Imperial Gaming looking to be able to take a Game 3 victory here, Charles. It's going to be a banger of a game.
I'm excited for it. We've had really, really great games in the series so far. The first one, a very long, almost 40-minute game, back and forth. Just a quick team fight went in favor of Imperial Gaming, and so I just like Noble Bark walking right past the Gragas, like ignoring him and just dropping the ward. Sorry. A really great game in game one. And game two felt a little bit more dominant, right? Clown Gaming Aristocrats definitely in the driver's seat most of that game. Felt like they were in control, even though they gave up some neutral objectives. That Alawi was really in charge for a majority of that game. And once she got a hold of that backline, it was game over literally before 30-minute mark. So now we're in game three. We've got a lot to watch out for, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has had a highlight moment here in this series. You can't think of somebody who didn't have something that they did that was super impactful. But on the other end of that coin, there have also been moments that every single one of these players has definitely made a mistake in. So,
for sure,
curious to see, where that comes out. Easton 8, though, I think, very consistent, was 6-0 in game two, was what, like 2-3 in game one, and so they were both very, very strong games for Easton 8. Paradigm shift, big kills in games 1 and 2, kills legendary in game 1. So, there's definitely a lot on the line here. Definitely going to be, I think, respecting the power of both of these teams. We see it played in the draft, and we're seeing it here as we start off the series. Looking at the summoner spells, Paradigm Shift, locking in with the Cleanse, along with Cooper picking up that Ghost.
Yeah, and, Cooper on Ghost makes sense, right? The movement speed on the Hecarim, that feels right. The Cleanse over on Ezreal, I mean, Ezreal's probably one of the more mobile ADCs that you have because of the Arcane Shift. He's able to get himself out of some sticky situations, or get himself into some sticky situations depending on how he uses it. So it's interesting to see the Cleanse come out on him, and not on somebody like the Vayne where you've got so much CC coming out of this of Imperial Gaming crew. But here we go, some action going on.
Oh my goodness, the Dragon Strike lands and pierces through the heart of Paradigm Shift. That is a burst of blood immediately going over to Clown Gaming.
Yeah, I didn't expect that much damage to come through off that, I'll admit. I thought he was going to have a little bit harder time locking it down, but first blood early in this series. This has been one of the earliest first bloods I think we've seen in the game so far.
Yeah, and Swag EP is now in trouble as well. No flash physiology picks up that kill and makes it a quick 2-0 run for Clown Gaming.
Lulu going to the house there, drops the exhaust, the slow, and just keeps hitting those autos out. I thought she was going to try and hand over to Vayne, but no. Just goes ahead and gets herself on the board early. I like it. Lulu carry for the win. But yeah, and again, did you see Cooper? Cooper was in the right area. Cooper had a great job. Read the situation, got in early, but unfortunately was not able to have an influence there before everything went down. And so this is Clown Gaming Aristocrats feeling confident, feeling good. And, they've got themselves an early lead here, 1,000 gold at 5 minutes in. And they're feeling pretty strong about where they're taking this series.
Yeah, third game as well for Noble Bark that he decides not to go with the teleport. It's fairly common for Noble Bark on the Trendemir, or just for Trendemir players in general, to go for the Flash Ghost build rather than, Flash Teleport or something like that, but decided not to go for the teleport in Game 2 when he was playing as the Yasuo, played the Exhaust, which means that once again, Clown Gaming Aristocrats is going to have the teleport advantage and will be looking to exploit that sooner rather than later, Charles.
Yeah, if they play the macro right, they can definitely put Imperial Gaming in a tough position. So that's just something to be mindful of. That being said, here we go, some action going on the bot side.
Physiology gonna have to try to flash away, but is getting bursted down so quickly. Cooper can't quite pick up the kill against the Lulu and will use the Pick's shielding to be able to keep them alive. That is actually the gold for Physiology coming into play there. The Bandle Glass Mirror being enough power and enough shielding for him to be able to keep him alive.
Yeah, they did have to blow the flash. They did have to blow the heal there on the side of Clown Gaming and Aristocrats. So, you know, you're not happy about that, but you're great. You're very happy you didn't give over a kill.
Cybele to use Spirit Rush here, so Abound does actually get something out of that play, as well as Final Spark getting used, so East and 8 and Cybele just kind of trading their ultimates. Cybele down to very low mana and HP, will most likely be going back in just a second, but it's East and 8 that's going to get the back up first, so we'll be back immediately. Explosive Cats getting used against Noble Bark. Noble Bark does have Undying Rage. Oh no! He doesn't have Undying Rage, pardon me. Not quite level 6. Flashes forward and northward. Kind of outplays him there in the 1v1.
Rough run. And, you know, I was just going to say before that fight and everything started that you've got to watch out for Noble Bark because he is going to be one of those champions that even though he doesn't have teleport, even though he can't join those team fights, you almost are more scared that he isn't in the team fight because that means he's taking your base. On the flip side, he has to have a color screen to be able to do that. He can't do it with the gray screen at the fountain. Rough play there from him. Ooh, nice flash. Rough play from him there on the top side. I don't know if he thought he was going to hit level 6 earlier. I don't know if he just thought he had the damage, but either way, ends up getting killed in not the most ceremonious way on the top lane.
Yeah, Cooper also going to now get targeted upon Abound and Northward, looking to continue to keep up the damage. Cooper is only level 5, but he will be able to walk away. Northward having another phenomenal early game here. This time now has the plated steel caps, so Noble Bark is definitely going to be feeling that, especially since all he has is a Vampiric Scepter. But we've got more action on the top side of the Rift. Definitely a lot of players trying to be able to get some impact here at the red buff. Noble Bark is continuing to try to put some power in against Northward, but is still feeling the pressure of the plated steel caps, and the body slam will get Noble Bark down to about 3/4 HP. No one has yet to be able to take the red buff yet. Cooper is in the area, but it's actually Abound, level 5, threatening to be able to try to take it. Can't quite get it just yet. Charm landing for Cybele in the mid lane. A lot of damage coming in all around the Rift, but at the end of the day, it ends up resulting in Imperial Gaming finally getting the very contested red buff.
I mean, I've seen it.
No! Oh no!
Beautiful job from Easton there. Talk about consistency like you were earlier. Rough run for Cybele there.
My hands were on my head. I reeled back because Cybele went in for that Spirit Rush, tried to go in for the charm, and he gets rooted just barely within tower range. Final Spark lands, and there's no way that Cybele's getting out of that one. Massive kill there over to East and 8. Makes it a 4-0 advantage, but it doesn't look like the damage and the power is done yet. Noble Bark already spinning to win. Gonna get hit by the body slam. Gonna get hit by the explosive cast. Noble Bark is in Undying Rage. Can he get out of it? The answer is maybe. He's gonna get hit by the Cataclysm, and that is Abound with his second kill in the game.
Beautiful job there. They were able to draw out the ultimate from Tryndamere, make it last just that long enough, and then the Cataclysm under turret is able to lock it up the kill for the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Now, one thing I want to point out, we talked about it earlier, right? You've got to watch for the Vayne, you got to watch for the solo laners on the side of Imperial Gaming. Well, right now, we've had 2 instances where the solo laners have died under turret in really aggressive, risky plays. On the flip side, you've got a Vayne who's got 2 solid assists and relatively even in the CS department. That's translated to a 2,000 gold lead for Clown Gaming Aristocrats at just about the 10-minute mark. That's the furthest lead we've seen at this point so far in the series. So it makes you wonder how the rest of this game is going to go. Is it going to be... Ooh.
Once again, Cybele now is so low. That was less than 10 HP.
No, that was like 2. She was barely alive there. Again, you mentioned it earlier. Easton's just been super consistent with these plays. Beautiful
Yeah.
jobs locking them down. Beautiful final sparks. And that's a prime example. Just another good play coming out of Easton there on this Lux.
I mean, 1-0-0 is about 20, above 20 CS in the lead against Cybele. Gonna put him back again, so it's gonna be really tough, I think, for them to be able to pick up the Drake. A bound and find the flying drag on a Swaggy P. Nature Grass is gonna get used. Kills going to be able to avoid the root, but a bound is gonna get shut down as the unstoppable onslaught is now in for against Physiology. Kills on the wrong side of the rift, trying to be able to maybe pick up a kill in final hour, but he can't, and it's Cooper that bounces back for Imperial Gaming Easton 8.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, his final sparks are like, assassinating. He's a sniper rifle with them. Picks up his second kill of the game.
Like heat-seeking missiles, just knows where they're at and hits them dead on every time. Beautiful job. Cybele going to be left alone, maybe get a turret plate here, but not the end of the world. If you're that Lux, you're still feeling beautiful job on Easton. Another big... Did he just use Cleanse for that?
Yeah, he did. He was worried.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say okay to that. I mean, Ultimate wasn't up on the Lux there, and I don't think that much damage would have come out from an E auto combo or anything, but that's okay.
Well, we'll see if they get punished. If Paradigm Shift gets punished now in the next couple of seconds without not having Cleanse. I mean, Cleanse is a fairly low cooldown comparatively to, say, like a Flash or a Teleport, for example. It's like on par with Ghost. So, if you use it sparingly, you can, or if you use it a little bit more liberally, you're not going to get too punished for it. But the big bad news bear situation is that he will not have it for the potential dragon fight. It is about a 700 gold lead here for the side of, for the side of Clown Gaming, and now they're looking to be able to find it. True Sharp Barrage is going to get a lot of damage, and now, because of that damage, he kind of redeems himself. Paradigm Shift will force Clown Gaming Aristocrats away from the dragon, as the charm does not land from Cybele. The fight is continuing to be there. Meanwhile, on the top side of the rift, Noble Bart is going for some proxy farming against Northward. He knows that he is okay for the time being since he has the use of it. Final Spark is going to find it, and it's another steal for a bound. He's going to go for the Cataclysm. The Wild Growth is going to get used. Cooper does have Unstoppable Onslaught, and it looks like it's going to be 1 kill. It's going to be 2 kills. Easton 8 will survive. So it's Dragon for 3 in favor of, I would say, Imperial Gaming there.
Yeah, a beautiful job by Abound. Second steal of the game for Abound on those neutral objectives. So clutch smiting coming out of Abound there. Unfortunately, though, the fight just goes downhill afterwards. Beautiful ult from Maokai locks down both Vayne and Lulu there. They get taken out as well. And so this is going to be Rift Herald going over to the side of Imperial Gaming, and they're going to find themselves now with a little bit of a gold lead. They're going to find themselves with a little bit of pressure. They find themselves with a Drake now, or not now. They find themselves, trying to get back into this a little bit. This is a really good back and forth game that we're seeing here. Oh, I thought it was going to be Paradigm Shift.
Well, Paradigm Shift once again has to use a Summoner spell to avoid a kill from Easton 8. Used the Cleanse a little earlier, has to use Flash to be able to get away from the final spark, considering that now Easton is at 2-0-0 with the Luden's Tempest. Would have died to that. So great plays again, once again, from Easton 8. But with that being said, I have to laud the power and the great macro control that Imperial Gaming has had. It has been able to punish a lot of what Clown Gaming Aristocrats has been able to do really well, which on their side has been the micro executions that they've had throughout the game. While the macro and the map control has been over to the side of Imperial Gaming really well, it's been the micro plays. It's been executing in these team fights that has been much more consistent for Clown Gaming, that has kept them really, really competitive here in this series.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like you said, the macro's been solid coming out of the side of Imperial Gaming, but another huge combo coming out from from Easton there onto Cybele. But no, it's been these little things coming out from Clown Gaming Aristocrats that have really kept them viable and everything, and ultimately got them the win last game.
Uh-oh,
We're gonna see
Cyble's
it.
in
There it is.
trouble. Gonna get hit by the double towers northwards. What are you doing, buddy? Gonna try to be able to get it. Oh my god!
Oh!
Oh my god, it's northward. He is the cure. He's too good at this game.
That was a beautiful job. I thought he was going downtown with the gray screen for days there for a second. Beautiful job. Just I don't know if that was a purposeful bait or just a happenstance of chance. Either way, locks down that kill on Cybele there, and beautiful job. Beautiful job from Northward.
I'm pretty sure that it was the bait to be hit by both towers as we get a fight coming through. Swaggy P is going to use the Nature's Grasp onto a bound. A bound will fall, and it's another nice final spark to get a lot of damage. Cybele using the teleport, but doesn't really get too much out of it. I'm still, like, reeling off of that kill there from Northward, but the fight is not over yet. Nice play there. Ensemble Onslaught's going to be used on to kills. Cooper is looking to be able to pick up another kill, and Cybele is the one that takes it home. Noble Bark is coming in with the slicing onto Physiology, onto Easton 8. Physiology using Golden Hourglass to be able to survive the onslaught for the time being, and actually does get out of that play. But that is a massive, massive influx of gold going over to the side of Imperial Gaming. They get 2 towers, 2 headbutt charges on this Rift Herald. Noble Bark is the target, and it will be a bound that picks up that kill. Rift Herald will fall. And after a very exciting couple of seconds there, it is Imperial Gaming that takes it to an almost 4K gold lead. It takes 2 towers and 4 kills, pardon me.
No, they did a great job there. Like you said, they get 2 turrets, several kills, more action going down.
Oh, Northward getting hit by the face check. Cybele saying, no, we want more, and Paradigm Shift picking up the second kill of the game for himself. Cooper is 4-0-4, 80% kill participation.
Yeah, no, been around the map at almost every major fight that we've seen breaking out. The same thing can be said about Ezreal, 2-1-6. Again, 80% of the kill participation for the team is the same thing for Maokai. So you can see this team is doing a great. Here we go.
Well, doing a great job of getting kills, but then also face checking themselves. Cooper, that is a sad shutdown there. Ends up falling to the power of Easton 8 and this final spark.
And just as we were complimenting them on how they've been playing well together as a team, one of them gets picked off relatively quickly, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, they have been playing really well around each other. That bot side initiative was huge for them. Definitely got them back into this. Noble Bark just sitting alone in the top lane, doing his thing. Northward, he's like, I'm just going to stay away from him. Let Northward do his thing, and I'm going to do my thing and go back to it, and it's working out well for him. So Imperial Gaming find themselves about 4K up. They've got 3 turrets. They've got 2 more, a couple neutral objectives over, and we could see, again, a really great series here. Let's see how it goes out.
A double onslaught used onto a very weak Abound. Cataclysm up, and Swaggy P will pick up that kill. Another great final spark, but it's not quite enough damage this time. Now up to kill to maybe pick up a kill, but no, it's Paradigm Shift going on a killing streak. Northward is the next target. Body Slam will land, but it won't be enough. That damage will come through, and we are getting our first ace of the game in a 4v5 fashion. Imperial Gaming getting everything in a bag of chips in that fight.
I mean, it took us 3 games, almost 3 hours, but we finally got to see an ace. Great job by Imperial Gaming there to lock that up. They get the Drake, they get the Ace. They end up getting 2 turrets topside for that Tryndamere as well, so they get a lot of pressure, and they might turn it into 3 here as they have Ezreal and Ari pressing in the mid here as well.
All right, yes, they do. They pick up the mid-tier 1 tower as well for their efforts. Noble Bark was not in that fight, so he still has the power of the Undying Rage to continue to keep it going. Don't overstay here, Imperial Gaming, because this is how you turn this game around here. If you are Clown Gaming, is you pick up these players as they overstay, and it doesn't look like that is going to be the case this time. Imperial Gaming will back off. Noble Bark, though, is still continuing to be a nuisance and a threat on the top side of the Rift. But let's take stock of where we're at right now. 38,000 gold for Imperial Gaming comparatively to 30k for the side of Clown Gaming. That disaster at the Dragon Pit is going to result in a massive influx of gold going over to the side of Imperial Gaming. They have 2 items on Paradigm Shift as well. He has hit his critical mass here at this point. Muramana online, as well as the Divine Sunderer, is going to be putting out massive amounts of damage. Meanwhile, Clown Gaming Aristocrats, their gold is kind of split throughout the entirety of their team. No one's quite in the massive lead just yet.
No, it's done a good job of spreading the wealth kind of thing. You've got Trindamir, who's got a bounty and some gold. You've got Hecarim bounty and gold. You've got Cybele bounty and gold, Ezreal bounty and gold. You've got a great job, like I said, of this team really playing well together. Here's some action for you.
Uh-oh, a solo kill. Cooper going to be able to pick up that one, going on a killing spree now, 7-1 and 7, still 14 out of 16 kill participation here.
And one thing I want to point out, Noble Bark in the first game went Kraken Slayer and Navari Quickblade as his first 2 items. This time, opting to go Bork as his first item instead. So definitely it doesn't feel the same in some of these fights. He's not just cutting through non-stop on these folks, and there's the Kraken Slayer now. So definitely a lot of prioritization. He just bought a Kraken Slayer. I want to point that out real quickly. Just one full item, no components, just straight into it. But yeah, I like the itemization there to say I want a little sustain against this Gragas who's starting to cut through me a little bit. So good job from Noble Bark there.
Exactly, and on top of that, you're also being able to deny some of the powers that Clown Gaming has. They've got a lot of health on their side here in Game 3 with the wild growth as well from Physiology. That is, I think, maybe why he decides to go for it here instead of maybe going for the Kraken Slayer and then avoid Quick Blades earlier. He now has the ability to chunk through some of that maximum health, as they also look to be able to maybe go for a Baron. They are sneaking it here.
Yeah.
And this is something that they could potentially get. Clown Gaming has no idea that it's happening. They don't even try to go in for some warding. Anderson Cooper and Noble Bark are just continuing to whack upon it. And Clown Gaming Aristocrats, they are none the wiser. Imperial Gaming taking Baron for free.
I mean, it's not often that at 22 minutes, 2 people can straight up take Baron in the game. So beautiful, beautiful job from Imperial Gaming locking that down. And yeah, I mean, at this point, it's a 10,000 gold lead. They're up 5 turrets. They're up 2 Drakes. They are up a Rift Herald. They're now up they're up a Baron now. You've got bounties on almost everybody. CS leads across the board except mid lane. If you're on the side of Clown Gaming Aristocrats, you've got to be looking for a pick. You've got to be trying to get the split going on. You've got to come up with an answer here.
Yeah, it's going to take an act of COD, I would say, at this point, for Clown Gaming Aristocrats to come back. When you're behind by, more than, 10% of the total gold in the game. I think that's what Freak says in LCS. If you're behind by more than 10k or above 10% of the total gold at like the 25-minute mark, you're pretty much, in a bad spot. And I would say that is something to be said here, as we get to see maybe Noble Bark fall, spinning to win, as the Hextech Drake does get taken. That's going to put the side of Imperial Gaming at the sole point. And like you said, it is correct. Cybele actually playing a little bit too aggressively there, flashing forward. There are a couple of ways that Clown Gaming Aristocrats can win this game. It's going to take a Miracle Ace, or maybe Imperial Gaming playing with their food. And I would put that Flash Charm as a little bit playing with your food there if you're Cybele.
Yeah, and that's not the first time we've seen that out of Cybele this game. Both Noble Bark and Cybele both flashing forward under turrets earlier in the game. The flash there. They've definitely been aggressive throughout this game, in particular in the series. So, some damage going down there. I mean, yeah, at this point, it's their game to throw. They absolutely could do that. So we gotta be mindful of it. Ooh.
Yep, and there's Cybele getting punished for that action. Easton going to be able to pick up their 3rd kill of the game. And, I want to point it out, kills as this Vayne has yet to really pop off. Mortal Shield Bow with a Zeal, 0, 5, and 4.
Yeah, you don't feel the presence of Vayne a whole lot in this game, do you?
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. Haven't really noticed that she's been in a fight yet. Didn't feel her presence in lane. Honestly, completely forgot she was in the game. I mean, I've thought more about Lulu. I've thought more about Lux and J4 and Northward on this Gragas. So she needs to step it up. She can be influential, especially now she's sitting on an item and a half. It's certainly not the 2.5, almost 3 items that Ezreal has, but that's definitely enough to start plucking through the Maokai, to start working your way through the Hecarim, to definitely try and influence some of these fights a little bit more. So, how I said earlier, it's going to come down to the Vaden with the solo laners. Right now, the solo laners on the side of Imperial Gaming are definitely the ones that are making themselves felt in this game.
With Baron gone, 2 minutes remaining until the Hextech Soul win condition is on the table. We are seeing the base of Clown Gaming stay alive. Imperial Gaming with Baron didn't get the maximum value out of it. Imperial Gaming was able to pick up all the outer structures. It is just the base for Clown Gaming that remains, but Imperial Gaming not quite yet at the point where they have taken an inhibitor. So Clown Gaming Aristocrats are still feeling happy about that. Looking at that, Phantom Dancer is also online for Clown Gaming. Dragon spawning in 214. They've just got to continue to defend the Nexus. There's no other neutral objectives up. There's no reason to push far forward. Imperial Gaming know that they've got this win so far in their control, but one misplay here in this tower can be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it's going to come down to, right? That's what we saw in the first game was one misplay, death time was too long, and Imperial Gaming was able to get that win. And so it looks like Clown Gaming, the Aristocrats, have finally put that on their radar, that they've just got to play safe, play smart, because the last thing you want to do is give over 2 kills with long death timers, let Noble Bark push while a dragon's taken, and put yourself in a rough position that you can't get out of. So I like the conservative play. It may not be the most interesting to watch a back and forth poke battle here, but I'll tell you, it's certainly the wisest choice.
Yeah, Paradigm Shift could have gone for the True Shot Barrage there. Is going to try to get the snipe. Can't quite get it onto Easton. Doesn't even have to use a flash. So good sidestep there from the Lux. Nice presence of mind to recognize that they were extremely low. But, that's the power of getting that root there from Cybele. If he's able to land the charm onto Easton, that's going to be almost a kill. And you saw it quite happen. 57 seconds remaining, which means that the pressure against the base, the siege, has let up for the side of Imperial Gaming. They know that their win condition is at the Dragon and Baron pit. You must fight at, I would say, Dragon if you are Clown Gaming Aristocrats, if you want a chance to win it. You need a steal from Easton or Bound to keep your chances alive, and that's going to be the big play here is, can they make something happen? You've got the teleport advantage. You've got the chance to make it available here, and let's see how it plays out.
I mean, we see both teams starting to vie for position here. Top laners in the top lane doing top lane things, just smacking each other on the head and bonking each other. But yeah, it's ultimately going to come down to this fight. The winner of this fight will get it. Now, I do want to point out one thing. I noticed in the chat, somebody pointed out, that's a Zeke's on J4 second item.
Oh yeah, Zeke's Convergence going to be the optimal item here, looking to be able to keep kills alive a little bit longer. But Cooper initiating the fight, going to get the unstoppable onslaught. Noble Bark is coming in for the flank. Swaggy P is in trouble. Abound is getting a lot of damage. It's Paradigm Shift on a rampage. The explosive cat's going to divide everybody, but it's not quite enough damage. A double kill for Paradigm Shift initiated by Cooper is going to result in Imperial Gaming picking up the Hextech Soul.
And yeah, I mean, that's a rough run. That's one of the first final sparks that didn't connect with this target and at least get somebody low enough to be picked up or anything. And with Baron up, this could very likely be the fight that decides the fate of or decided the fate of the game, rather, as Hextech Soul goes over to Imperial Gaming. Baron about ready to go over to Imperial Gaming. They have a man advantage on the map still. A quick reset here, and we're very likely going to see the end of the game in the next couple minutes here. Do you see it differently? Do you think that Clown Gaming Aristocrats have an answer back into this game?
No, I mean, beside a complete disaster in terms of everything going wrong for Imperial Gaming in this next battle, it does look like it is a GGWP moment here for the side of Imperial Gaming. They should be able to take this in a 2-1 fashion. I don't expect them to be able to come back. I don't expect the Clown Gaming to be able to come back from this. Like I said, it's going to take an active COD 10 minutes ago. It's going to take, something pretty extraordinary to happen at this point for Imperial Gaming to lose this one. You're seeing it happen now. They just are continuing to be able to get the death march here, taking everything in a bag of chips. It's just a plan of, how they want to make it happen. So, Imperial Gaming going to be able to take this 2-1 here against Clown Gaming, who put up a massive fight. A couple of points that we have to note here for Clown Gaming were, I would say, this vein 0, 5, and 4 hasn't been the most impactful, and going back to that last team fight in Game 1, Abound, that Keeper's verdict, definitely something that resulted in them losing Game 1. You have to wonder, had Imperial Gaming not taken that game, would we be here in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to consider because as soon as that happened, the death timers were so long, that was the end for them. If you had maybe used that a bit more strategically, taken Noble Bark off the map, one of 100 different things could have happened there. We'll never know, unfortunately, but we do see this Imperial Gaming team working really well, pushing and pulling with the Baron here, and we've got some action going on.
Cybel's going to fall, but it's going to be a dominating kill here for Paradigm Shift. Cooper's going to pick up his 8th of the game. Kills is the next target. Wild Growth and everything getting used onto them. Kills is going to fall. Noble Bark going to pick up his 2nd, his 3rd now in the fight with a double kill here on to Physiology. That was probably the best engagement that you could have gotten. Swaggy P is going to fall as well as Noble Bark. So Easton 8 is going to be able to pick up a double kill, maybe even more here. Easton 8, some heroics with the Lucent Singularities to be able to keep this game alive for Clown Gaming Aristocrats. I'm shooketh here, Charles.
You mentioned playing with your food earlier, right? I saw at least 4 turret shots go over to those Imperial Gaming members when they could have just waited a couple seconds for a wave. They chased under turret after he'd used his ult, and he took a couple turret shots there from the Tryndamere. I think their hubris is getting the better of them right now. They could have had this game over. They've chosen not to. It could bite them in the butt. I don't think it will. Obviously, they've got close to a 15,000 gold lead at this point. But this is the kind of thing that loses you games, is not winning when you had the chance.
And I mean, you had the best chance to win there, right? You
yeah.
have Baron, you have the damage. Cooper's going to go and pick up the red buff, but won't actually go for the Onslaught of Shadows. The base is still intact. The Nexus is still protected from a tower. Noble Bark can't just go in and whittle it down quite yet. They were able to pick up 2 inhibitors. They are still in a pretty, massive lead, and the win condition is still there, but they aren't quite at the point where they can, they haven't won the game yet. So kills, 0, 6, and 5 still has a Phantom Dancer, still has the Immortal Shield Bow, and the chance for them to take it. A lot of damage on to Northward. Northward trying to survive, but can't quite get it. That's going to be 2 kills here for the side of Imperial Gaming. You have to think at this point it has to be GGWP as we get a lot of damage from the final spark. Noble Bark is going to go into Undying Rage. The Nexus is going to fall. And after a 34-minute battle, Imperial Gaming will take Game 3. We'll take a 2-1 series against Clown Gaming Aristocrats, and will move up in the Zon division to 4-2.
I mean, I don't want to say I got nervous there, right? Because it was never really scared that you thought Imperial Gaming was going to lose at that point. But man, I don't love to watch a team that has the lead so far play with their food like that. I don't know if it's a sportsmanship thing. I don't know if it's a risking losing thing, or if I've just done it so many times and got bit in the rear end before myself. But yeah, I think they played a little bit too far at the end, but ultimately they end up locking down the win there. They get another solid push from the bot side, get everything, and they wreck the base. And that's a 2-1 in the series for Imperial Gaming over Clown Gaming Aristocrats.
Exactly. And I mean, regardless of like your opinion, like regardless of your opinions of whether or not you felt like maybe Imperial Gaming was playing with their food, I definitely thought that they were aggressive. And there were a
Hmm.
couple of points like Cybele going in for that flash charm like that. Like, had you been behind or had it been an even game, you don't go for that play. Like you just
100%.
you don't go for that play. You say, hey, we're so far in the lead that we're winning that game. It's gonna be a GG on our favor. You still could have lost it. Like, there was still that glimmer of hope that Imperial Gaming could have lost, or I guess for Clown Gaming, that they could have won that game. They could have brought it back. Because had they aced him, had Imperial Gaming gotten aced, Clown Gaming could have, waltzed right into their base and taken it in. That could have been disaster. And I've seen it happen before. So, really,
Yeah,
regardless of that, shout out to Imperial Gaming to be able to take this to a, game, or take game 3. They end up getting a 2-1 series win against Clown Gaming Aristocrats. They tie Clown Gaming Aristocrats in the Zon division at 4-2, and now there is the chance for several teams to be in that, 3, 4, 5 position here moving into week 7.
yeah. I mean, this is exactly what we were looking for, right? We wanted a great series. We want to see these teams fighting for that position within the division, and we're going to get to see it. It's going to come down to how the rest of the games shake out for this week and how next week's games go. I think we mentioned earlier, Imperial Gaming going up against TA, going to be a very tight schedule for them, and that's going to be important. It's a good thing they won for their schedule. And I think I forget exactly who Clown Gaming's going up against, but it's a competitive schedule as well. So just it's got to be played right. They've got to do well. And I did want to point out one thing. You had mentioned it as well, right? A 15,000 gold lead feels insurmountable. But at 40 minutes in a game, when death timers are hitting 60, 65 seconds, anything can happen. That Vayne can take a turret relatively quickly with a wave and get inhib and push on to things. So you got to give a little respect where it's due. I think that both teams played a great game in the series, though. It was a fun series to watch, a fun series to cast, and hopefully everybody here enjoyed it as well.
I mean, I would say casted wise, like as the caster of the AGL, of all of the different series that I've been able to cast so far in the AGL, this has been my most memorable, my favorite series of the bunch to cast so far. Ton of twists and turns, so much fun to be able to cast. Everything from throws to misplays to steals to aces to no pentakill in the game. That would have
No,
probably
we
been
got
icing on the cake.
quadra
Um,
kill.
we did get a quadra kill, but we got a banger of a series. It was definitely fun to watch, and you guys will not want to miss the continued action of the Aegis Guardians League Week 7. Our featured matchup is going to be our featured matchup is going to be decided here in just I think in a couple of moments we'll decide where the last game of the series is going to go. With that being said, give us a little bit of an idea of where the rest of the games have gone through. No acknowledgement, or not acknowledgement, but no updates on any of the Zon division games. In the Piltover division, we had 2-2-0 victories. Mint Rocky Road was able to take a 2-0 victory against Team Ambition Solstice, and Literal Monkey's Grass able to take the 2-0 victory against Tufts Sapphire. Neither one of those is maybe, unexpected. Mint Rocky Road will now move up to 3-3. Literal Monkey's Grass up to 4-2. They have secured their spots in the in the play-ins. It is up to Glacial Omen and Team Ambition Solstice to decide who is going to be able to take that last game, that last series. That's going to be a really fun one. Glacial Omen up against Team Ambition Solstice Week 7 could be the deciding factor to see who actually makes it into the play-ins in the Piltover division. So a lot to watch out for in Week 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But we've definitely got a lot of back and forth movement between these teams. It's a lot of potential for some upsets to come through. And the race isn't over. I mean, the finish line is close, but it's going to be taking it down to the wire for both these teams.
Exactly. And with that being said, I think that is a nice wrap, a nice bow to conclude a 3-game series between Imperial Gaming and Clown Gaming Aristocrats. Of course, Imperial Gaming was your victor here in the Aegis Guardians League for week number 6. If you guys are enjoying the content that Aegis Esports has been bringing to the table, please, please, please give them a follow, give them a subscribe on Twitch, a follow on Twitter, and join their Discord so you guys are able to stay up to date with all of the action and all of the different leagues that they cast. The Aegis Protectors League, Aegis Defenders League, the Aegis Guardians League are all available throughout the week. They have a ton of fun, a ton of great casters that are involved with that. Definitely do not want to miss that. If you guys are enjoying the content that either Charles or myself are bringing to the table, you can follow our Twitch channels. I am at Moosecaster Charles. Your Twitter is
At Charles Elroy.
at Charles Elroy, definitely coming in with that. And of course, this cannot be done without Smallcrim, our producer, being there and being a banger of a producer and observer throughout this series. Thank you so much for what you bring to the table. With that being said, on behalf of all the players here at the Aegis Guardians League, the coordinators and the staffs at Aegis Esports, Charles Elroy, Smallcrim, and myself, this has been the Aegis Guardians League. Have a great night, everybody, and take care.